Hey, and welcome back to Remote Play Gaming Podcast with your three co-hosts, Evan, Curtis, and myself, Mark. We're here for episode 12, and let's just dive right into it, guys. I want to know what you guys have been playing lately, and then we'll go from there. Evan, you're first.
All right, man. So I've been playing lots of stuff. Not as much
nothing
Destiny
with
2.
nothing with me, just to be clear. Every time I see this guy on, he ghosts me. I get no text message, no nothing.
Yeah, well, it's hard to play some of the single player games I've been playing. But yeah, so I played Vemba. Real quick, I'll go off that one because that was I played Vemba and beat it. It was announced that it was leaving Game Pass. It was a pretty good one. I beat it in less than an hour and a half. So real quick play, and it was worth the play if you kind of like those narrative. Like I hesitate to say visual novel, but that's kind of what it played like. Cause I'm usually not one into like I don't go for visual novels. I go for more like I prefer like a walking sim type of narrative type of game or whatever. But there's some little cooking mini game and stuff in there. But it's a pretty much like a on rails experience. But it was really impactful. Like it's about this Indian family that immigrated to Canada, and then they were having a kid, and like just like the troubles of what that entails and stuff of trying to like keep your own culture and like but raise your kid up and without I don't know, it honestly it gave me kind of some perspective that as a as a white guy that grew up in the Midwest of the U.S., never, I've never had a whole lot of cultural adversity to overcome or anything. So
Right.
it was kind of a cool thing to see. But I started Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Oh, I'm jealous. I was gonna
Oh
start it.
man. Yeah, so right, it takes place in the I want to say it's in the Alps. I think it's Switzerland, but it's just got that feel, right? And then it's got this like early 2000s cartoon almost, not quite that like that animation style, but it just kind of something about it reminisces like on that. And I just started up last night. I played through the first dungeon. It's like the beginner dungeon or whatever tutorial, and I tell you what, man, this has a lot of potential for me.
Really?
I'm pretty excited. It's the combat is this ring based combat, same kind of stuff that's in like Hi-Fi Rush or whatever, where it's like you
Kind of like
you
in a
see
mini
the
arena.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so you see the the bad guys or whatever, or the monsters, and you kind of like as you approach them, you get circled into this arena, right? And you're just doing that kind of combat. Same thing in like Tales of Arise and Trails of Arise.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting the name of that, but yeah, that same kind of combat. But like the animation style, the story, the setting, all that stuff is it's really sucking me in. I was like, this thing's got a lot of potential for me.
Is there a lot
So
of like stuff in between the fights? Like, what are you doing between the fights? Just
yeah,
traversing, or
so it's you're just your standard like action adventure, like you're just it's the dungeons, at least this first dungeon is very on rails, right? There's a few things to discover and like little paths to explore or whatever, but there's not, it's a very like so far a very linear experience. And there's a little hub world that the hub world is just like this little like Swiss city type thing, right? Like that you kind of think about with like all like you're in the mountains and these old buildings with like the colors and all that stuff that you think about in a just a little old town or something in Switzerland. And so it's and there's a little, like I said, in there it looks like there's a little more to explore that will kind of open up, but as far as the dungeon, it feels pretty on rails.
Okay. And hold on,
and
Curtis, have you seen Dungeons Hinterberg at all? And does it interest you?
So I was just watching the trailer while he was talking about it. I mean, the look of it gives me like a super big Scott Pilgrim vibes, like the graphics, which is kind of cool. But looking at the gameplay, I don't think this would really be up my alley. Especially, and I think that also kind of sealed the deal the moment he said Hi-Fi Rush, because I tried that out because it got great reviews and stuff. I was like, yep, wasn't my cup of tea. So I think I could probably pass on this one.
I'm worried I'm going to bounce off this too.
I don't want that to deter you, right? So, but it just that combat style is what it was from, and
Yeah.
obviously there's the colors like there is in Hi-Fi Rush, but the colors are like the art style's different, right? It's definitely a different
Right.
art style.
And it's not
but,
rhythm based, right? So
um,
you're actually just like hacking and slashing in the arena.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, it's different. I mean, there's definitely some common ground there between Hi-Fi Rush and Hinterberg here, Dungeons of Hinterberg, but I definitely think it's at least different. But
What else have you
I
been
did like
playing?
that game and I beat it. Yeah, so dude, I'm playing the crap out of Pokemon Leaf Green. I go to sleep to it every night, right? So this is the definitive Pokemon experience for me. Man,
Until
Is
the
this,
Pokemon
next
is this
Go.
your
one.
first time playing it?
Yeah, I've never played the Gen 3
Oh my
remakes of
god.
Gen 1. So I've never played Fire Red or Leaf Green. And dude, I've put thousands of hours into Pokemon Red. And I beat Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, right, on the Switch, and I've never played the definitive version of that of Gen
The
1.
best version of it. Yeah,
Yeah, oh my
exactly. That's
gosh. I'm
incredible.
just like,
This is this
how have I
guy.
missed this all this time, right? Like I had my Game Boy Advance. I had my like how did I never play this game? I was like, I can't believe it. I'm like, this is the best Pokemon game I've ever played.
Every
I
week,
would
And
wholeheartedly agree with you on that too, as well.
I get closer to kicking Evan off the podcast every week that he says something like
Every
this.
single time he talks.
I'm working my way through it, right? So I'm getting there. I'm getting more of these must plays in here, right? I'm
Mhm.
playing this generation. I'm going to be playing through the Pokemon games. I played my Resident Evil 2, so I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
I love it.
But yeah, so I've been playing the crap out of it. Like I said, it's so good. I love it so much. I don't know how we've missed this. And then Ruby or Sapphire is going to be next, or Emerald, one of those three. I'm not
Yeah.
sure because I think Emerald's like the yellow or the crystal
Yeah.
of
I
that
think it's
generation,
Crystal.
right? So
Yep.
yeah, so Emerald is one that I'm gonna have to or see which one is better, because I like red and blue a lot better than I like yellow, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not sure how I feel about Crystal versus it's been a long time since I've played Silver. I can't remember too much the differences between those two. So but yeah, so yeah, it's so good. I can't, and the only reason I'm playing this right now is because like yeah, I just didn't like the real-time clock wasn't working on my analog pocket or whatever for the Gen 3. So but I've got that figured out. But anyway,
What
yeah,
else you got playing?
looking
Anything else? This guy's just
yeah,
got
well
look
there
at all
is
this
something
guy's got time to game. Just tons of time.
yeah,
Supposed to be dads on this
um,
podcast, and here he is. Is like,
I know, right?
who knows where
It's
these
funny.
kids are? They're down the street somewhere.
I
Don't come
I've
home
been
before the lights come
playing
on.
I've been playing V
Yeah,
or whatever
spikes.
that
I just call it spikes.
spikes. That's probably a good way. Or triple W, right? I don't know. Is it six
Yeah.
V's or three W's?
Who knows?
But it's certainly a game for Curtis. But
I don't
it's
believe
not a
this.
game.
I'm gonna look it up, but I don't believe it for a second.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you should totally play it, Curtis. It's right up your alley. Don't even just go into it blind. But no. But yeah, so I've been playing that with like with my family and stuff. So like, my wife and my son are just like super into it, and I'm just like, all right, but it's a precision puzzle platformer, Curtis. With nice, just
I
great
just,
like.
have I wronged you? I don't. Why? This is just an
So
outrage.
I think
it's so good.
the ultimate thing we should do is start gifting stuff to Curtis for Christmas. Just terrible games he would not, or great games that he would not like. Yeah,
library.
yeah. Clutter
I
his
love it.
Steam library with precision
Oh, yeah.
platformers
And he's
and
got to play them. Just
walking sims.
Curtis is the new angry video game nerd, right? Like,
Just rage.
Okay, so you've been
I
playing
don't even have fun with this anymore.
yeah. So spikes, as Mark calls it. The family's loving it, right? Like they're just like, this is something that like grabs like my wife's attention. She's not super into video games or anything, but like something like she likes the just a little bit of puzzle solving, right? Like you can kind of look at it and it's very straightforward gameplay, right? There's not like just so much going on, which we kind of like for the kids too, right? Like it's very it's not overstimulating like some of the games and stuff. And um but then this is of course right up my alley, and it's kind of like shaping up to be I mean, one of my favorites, right, out of the precision platformer genre, right, out of these indie games that I love, like Celeste, Super Meat Boy. I've still got to be Super Meat Boy, but Celeste is kind of taking the cake for me in indie games, and this fits right into that mold for me.
All right, and
And
maybe
then there's something else I've been playing, but we'll talk about that I think shortly.
yeah. So we'll bounce over to Curtis. Go ahead.
Every time Evan like says a new game in that I haven't heard before, and I pull it up, they get like simpler and simpler in the graphics department. I swear to God, in a month from now, he's gonna be like, "You guys heard of this game called Pong?" Like just
I was gonna say
three graphical pieces.
Busting out the Atari 2600.
I like every time I look up a game, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're just complete black screen. All right, nice, love it.
Like you gotta really
awesome.
focus. Yeah, like you could see it, man.
Right. I go from Destiny to Dungeons and Hinterberg to Pokemon to
oh my God. My blood. I mean, after you guys talk about giving me all these garbage games, my blood pressure has risen significantly. So, trying to remember what I have been playing. So I played all the games that we talked about that I was going to get on my on the summer sale.
Okay.
So Universe M, I've played that for about 10 hours or so, and I liked it. The narrator of that game is a great draw for me because the sarcasm and everything that he portrays and just kind of says every time you do something is hilarious. I've been really enjoying it. It has the same problem that at least is for me when you hit a certain point in like the tech tree for even in like Civ and stuff like that, things start to really slow down, right?
Yeah.
So you go like you rapidly advance through, like early ages, even through like middle ages. Then you get to like the higher tech tier stuff, and it's just like, okay, well, let me tell these guys to go like research this, and I'm gonna go take the dogs for a walk and just let it run, and then I'll come back. And so Universe Sim is having that same problem for me, which is why I haven't been back to it after the 10 hours. I still will because I want to see the whole game go all the way through. But I got distracted by another game that I didn't talk about in the summer sale that I was interested in. I picked up Planet Crafter, which I'd been watching for quite a long time, and I really enjoy those kinds of games. This one is basically think Subnautica, but you're on like Mars essentially, right? So you're learning a little bit about the story as you play through the game. The whole game is you crash land on this planet and you have to terraform it, which is why it's called Planet Crafter. So you start off with just like Subnautica, just the bare bones. Like you can hold your breath longer than your oxygen tank can last, kind of thing. Like so, you run out of the building, pick up some resources, run back in before you suffocate, and build a new, better oxygen tank, and kind of build up from there. Then you're building in buildings. You're building things to start increase the terraforming of the planet. So while you're trying to get water to form, you're trying to create an atmosphere and stuff like that. And as you're going, you obviously you see all of these things happening, and I accidentally flooded my base because I built kind of like at the bottom of what ended up being a lake. So I didn't know there was going to be a lake at the time, but all of a sudden, like I'm making a lot of progress, and then I see it starts to rain, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I see like puddles starting to form all over the planet, not just in my base. Then I go off on a big expedition because I got to get some more of the harder to find materials. I come back and everything's like 3/4 the way underwater, and I'm like, crap. So try to relocate my base in that.
Sounds like you were dying of thirst and then you end up drowning.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I played that a lot, like a whole bunch, and then it also kind of hit that same problem for me where you not really rapidly in this game, but you relatively easily unlock a lot of the newer stuff to kind of keep going, and then it just kind of plateaus for a while until you get to the really kind of higher tier end game items that you can craft. And then there's like tiers for everything, right? So there's like heater tier 1, heater tier 2, heater through up through like 4 or 5. So you get up to like 3 pretty quickly, but then the jump from 3 to 4 is like pretty substantial. And so once it got to that point where I was literally just like sitting in my base, going and taking a shower just so that my terraforming progress could increase, then I was like, man, all right, I'm gonna spend my time on something else because this is getting a old, just waiting. And I mean, I think that's kind of the point. I mean, if you look at all of these streamers and stuff that play this game, because it's been in early access for quite a while, but it just launched recently within the last couple of months, I believe. That's kind of the point. Is like they want you to keep going out and exploring, finding other materials and stuff like that. Whereas me, I'm like, I already have 50 heaters and 87 solar panels over here. I don't want to go build more just because they're a higher grade,
Right.
like to do it faster. It's just that kind of redoing work I've already done is not gameplay that it really suits me.
Are there alien life forms and stuff like that in the game?
So in later in the game, there will be once you get to a habitable point. I know for sure that there can be like aquatic life forms, so you get like fish and stuff like that.
He's
I
like,
don't
I know
about,
for
like,
sure they were
terrestrial
in my
stuff.
house.
Yeah,
My base flooded, they were in
exactly.
there.
So I don't know if you get like terrestrial stuff but you do get plants and trees and stuff like that. I just don't know if you get like actual wildlife. I haven't
Yeah.
progressed that far.
This game looks right up my alley, dude. I mean, when he said Subnautica, my ears perked up right away because Subnautica, absolute gem. The sequel, not so
100%.
much. But
Yeah,
this
agreed.
is overwhelmingly positive with 36,000 reviews. Released on my birthday, so that's a bonus. 1 to 10 players. Once again, no invite. What I don't know what's going on.
Evan, what is wrong with you, bro?
The podcast is falling apart.
So at least none of the games I've been playing are 1 to 10 players. But
Not with that
um,
attitude.
so
What else have you been
um,
playing besides that?
well, real
Oh, sorry.
quick.
Yeah.
So you said Subnautica, right? Like, another thing that I played. We all three played Subnautica. Individually together, right? But because that is also a single player game. But um, for me, Subnautica was really good, really good, really good, and that also kind of plateaued. So like that is just kind of like, oh, this really does kind of sound like it's like those things hold my interest, and then you hit that plateau, and then it's like where some people are, it's like that's where they just kind of get into their groove and they just kind of get in their daily grind. That's what they're kind of doing, and that probably elevates them, right? That just gives them that longer gameplay. But that's kind of something where it falls off for me. I think you guys got a lot further in Subnautica than I did, especially you, Kurt, right? But
Yeah, I beat
so
it, but I did, and I think to get to that final push, once you get down into like the final lava area,
Yeah.
I took my little walker dude down there, and then died somehow. I don't remember how, and then I was like, no, screw that, and then I just put in some cheat codes to like get a new one because it was going to take me hours to build a new one, and I was like, nope. I want to see the end of the story, but like I'm not doing like the next
Right.
12 hours to go and collect all these ultra
Yeah.
rare minerals and stuff again.
And that's why people watch Let's Plays. I think that's why Let's Plays are popular.
Yeah.
These games
Yeah,
are incredible,
absolutely.
but some people don't have the time.
Yeah, I would say that can be deflating when you're just like you said, you're just like, I'm not doing this again. And then it's just like, well, yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, Terraforming Mars, it sounds like a good premise for like a board game.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder if anybody's done that. That's,
Yeah, we should.
I mean,
scoop
if
that
not,
up.
we could.
Yeah, definitely. Curtis, what else have you been playing?
Also, like I said in our last video, RimWorld was another thing that I picked up on the summer sale. I have played that for a few hours, just basically enough to get through the tutorial, and then I got sidetracked with Planet Crafters, so I haven't been back to it. But I am looking forward when I go on vacation next week to giving that, putting that on my laptop, and just playing that on the plane. I think that'll be a good way to kill some of the hours. So I'm looking forward to actually playing the game rather than playing it through the tutorial. Not that the tutorial was bad, but just to kind of be let loose and see what all that can throw at me.
Right. It'll throw a lot at you.
Yeah, so I've heard
Yeah.
exactly. And then I also went down through the dredges of my Steam library, installed Warhammer Total War Warhammer 2, which I haven't played in a while. I saw, and I actually forgot about the series entirely until I saw the third one. They were all probably on sale for the summer sale. I didn't buy the third one because I already have the first two, and I knew I'd only put a couple hours into the second one. So, but I did bust that out. Used Steam Link so that I was just playing that from my couch because I'm a big couch gamer. and so I played that for a few hours, and I just did that a couple days ago. So, um, been playing that, and then I got Xbox the remote. I don't know what they call their version of streaming, remote play or remote whatever.
Yeah, there's
Um,
console streaming. Like, did you stream from the console or the
From the
xCloud?
yeah,
cloud.
the console.
Okay.
So I got the. I've been playing a lot of Slay the Spire on my phone with that.
Yeah, boy,
Um,
let's go.
and I finally beat the heart with Ironclad. Ironclad is such a difficult character for me to play, and so I was super excited when I beat the heart with him because I was like, this guy's card, like
He's
his
very
card
basic, like
combos and
straightforward,
stuff like that.
generic dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't resonate with me when I'm playing, and I'm like, it's hard for me to see his combos with his cards and stuff, even though I've like looked up tutorials and stuff like that. It just doesn't mesh with the way that I kind of play card games. So, but I finally beat him with it, and I was like, yes, finally, now onto the Watcher.
Man, how addicting is a good card game? Slay the Spire. I mean, I think pretty much anyone that plays Slay the Spire and even likes it a little bit just goes all in on it. Like you end up playing like through periods of like hours and hours and hours of this
And
game.
it's one of those games you don't even realize, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I started playing it when because I was streaming it to my phone. So I would go lay in bed for a little while, kick that on, and then there was a one night every week or every day for a week. I wasn't getting to bed till like 2:30 because I was like, oh, I can't finish this run. I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I got to stop doing it.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, like, because like Balatro or Balatro or whatever, however you
Balatro.
want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it Balatro. That's how I said it. But that and Slay the Spire, you hear about people just putting like hundreds of thousands of hours into it or whatever. Like people talk about Balatro being the most addictive video game that's come out in the last like year and all this stuff. And I both of those games, like I've enjoyed them, and I think there's more Balatro really probably of either one to play for me, but like I get like 2 or 3 runs into those games, and then I just put them down. Like I'll do it. I'll play them for like a few days, and then I just won't touch them again for a while, and then I'll pick them back up later on. Where it's just like that seems like just so like not the norm, right? Like it's either, oh, I'm not into card games, or I'm not into these deck builders, right? Or you're super into them and you just get sucked in and play them for like nonstop.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at though, is that I mean, I guess you're just on a smaller scale, but you'll go through a spurt where you really play it. And for you, it's 3 days, 4 days. For me, it's like a couple weeks. But then you put it away, and then maybe it'll come back up like later in this year or something, and you'll probably do the same thing, play for like 3 or 4 days, and be like,
Yep,
"Oh man,
yeah.
this is awesome," and then go away. But yeah, I don't think you're too far off. Maybe it's just like it doesn't resonate with you as much.
Right. Yeah, I guess because like I picked up Slay the Spire, initially about 4 years ago, and I think I've got maybe 25 hours into it, 20 or 25 hours, as opposed to like, like I said, you hear sometimes people hundreds, thousands of hours into Slay the Spire, and it's like that's what they play for months or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely like on a lesser scale for me. I think really deck builders are just like I just like them in small doses, and then I'll do it, and then I'll just kind of like, I don't know, something about it I just kind of get tired of it.
I don't understand how this is possible because every time we go to play a board game, you're like, hey guys, you guys heard of this game called Dominion? It's the greatest thing in the world. You want to play some deck building action? This is the thing to do.
That's 100% true. You'd think because Dominion was my first favorite board game, right? Like it was the first, like, and when I started playing board games, like Dominion was the reason I got into board games. Love that game, and I still love it. It's still one of my favorite games of all time. Love a good deck builder, right? But and on board game format, but yeah, the video game format, it's like it's decent for me. It's not anything terrible. It's not anything great, but it's just like
I could play that like forever, dude. There's enough variety in that game. Yeah. I cannot wait for number 2. It's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. And yeah, that new class I'm so excited to check out.
Yeah, and then all the mods to come with it. So you can't play any mods because you're playing on the Xbox version. But Evan and I even tried out.
Correct.
Oh gosh, what is it? Downfall or whatever. It's basically you play kind of like in reverse, and you play as the monsters, right?
We played Spire together, right?
Yeah. So there's Spire together.
Yeah.
Which allows you to play co-op, which is pretty sweet, Kurt. So like
that's pretty
you
awesome.
both play on the same map, and we would like coordinate over the mic on Discord, like, hey, you're gonna go on the left path, I'm gonna go on the far right one. We'll meet up at this spot, and there's certain things that happen where whoever gets there first gets the reward. The second person gets like a lesser thing if you go the same way, and it's pretty cool.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. Like if you get a chance to get Slay the Spire like on a cheap deal on Steam, do it because the mods alone are sick. And then the downfall one is again, you get to play as the monsters, so you get to play like the slime dude, several other ones, and they all have very unique powers. And a lot of people
Okay.
consider that like even better than the base game, which I hold the base game in very high regard.
Well, I mean, you're a couple weeks short of the summer sale for giving me the heads up on that, but I'll forgive you.
Yeah.
Hey, the fall sales, autumn sales right around the corner.
Now we're talking, and I got all those Counter-Strike skin dollars burning a hole in my pocket.
Counter-Strike
So I'm gonna hold on
Yeah.
to it.
Counter-Strike millionaire.
Yeah, this guy is making tens of dollars on his Counter-Strike skins, and I was like,
Tens
"God,
of
I could
dollars?
buy,
I
I
mean-
could buy I could buy like 20 precision platformers, you know,
Dude.
with that money."
With the $70-ish I got from those weapon skins, your wish list would be reduced by 90%. You could buy that much.
Slay
Oh,
the
yeah.
Spire is on
Especially
sale
if I-
for 66% off right now on Steam. You're welcome.
That's compelling. That's compelling. I'll have to check it out. I got to check it out.
Get off some of that rusty Counter-Strike money, man.
You install that Spire Together mod. I'll play with you for sure. Just hit me up.
All right, done. Deal.
What
but
else
yeah,
have
I
you
think
been
that's,
playing other than our ones we want to talk about for our segment?
I think that's all I've been playing in the past couple of weeks. Whoops. That was not related to our next segment here.
Okay.
All right. Now that's everybody. Now we want to move on to the next segment.
I'm always forgotten about.
Mark,
Always.
Mark, what are you playing?
I'm just the host. Don't worry about me. So yeah, so obviously Destiny 2, I log on and play that on the weekends. That's kind of my weekend game. Did a lot of Iron Banner last week, so that was cool. I just finished up the Witch King campaign and the exotic quest, which was pretty awesome. You ended up getting this cool gun with like a worm god in the gun, and you're like using him to power the gun. It's pretty sweet, like a little terrarium in the gun. Just there's cool weapon designs in that game. Everything about that game, like from the design of the worlds and the games and the lore, is pretty cool. I played Kingdom 2 Crowns. I picked that up on the summer sale. So frustrated with it. So frustrated. So I'll probably do a separate video about this to deep dive it a little bit. But the tutorial, in my opinion, absolutely terrible at teaching you what to do about the game. I watched the video. It's a really cool concept. Essentially, it's like almost like a base defense, tower defense type thing with like this beautiful like pixel, like Mountain Blade type art. And basically, you're on this flat surface, and you're like a king on a horse. You can go left, you can go right. Your base is in the middle. You can hire peasants, and as they like kill animals or deer or monsters, those drop coins. You collect the coins to hire more peasants to make archers or buildings or tell them to chop down trees, whatever it may be. And then you go from there. And it turns out there's like different islands that you can get to. And I think it's a very frustrating experience if you don't know what to expect going in. And honestly, I think it's because the tutorial's not very good. And maybe it's just that the gameplay is not my style or what I expected. But I was shocked when I went back to Steam and saw it was like 9 out of 10 and overwhelmingly positive with like 20,000 reviews. So maybe it's just me. Have you guys looked at this game at all before?
This is what we talked about, right? Where it was like a side scroller tower defense game.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the
Yeah.
first one, right? A little bit, and then we brought up, we brought this one up, and I think that conversation kind of sparked some Discord conversation, which sparked some Mark picking this up actually. I think. During the Steam sale. But yeah, I saw a post on Reddit. I think that asking about like co-op games, that I've heard that this is it really shines as a co-op game. If I'm not mistaken.
That would make sense because you have to run on your horse back and forth to each side. Like, granted, your little worker guys are like taking up an archer bow or a hammer or whatever, and they go do jobs for you. But to truly like progress on either side, you got to run all the way to one side or the other, which I found really tedious. Actually, so I could see with 2 players managing the base maybe is a lot better.
All right, Kurt, we got some homework. Mark's complaining about us not playing games with him. So you go pick up Slay the Spire, do some Spire together. I'll go pick up Kingdom Two Crowns and play some Two Crowns with him. Or we'll go ask him to, and then he'll say he can't.
Yeah, exactly.
I really want to like this game. Like, it's got a lot of charm to it. It's like when you tell me about it and I watch the video, I'm like, oh, this seems like a really cool idea. Just not clicking for me. So maybe I'll go back to it again and try it. Maybe people will come in the comments or in the Discord and tell me how I'm stupid and need to redo this. But the next,
I do really want to hear why you're playing this game wrong or something, because
yeah, like that epiphany moment, that aha moment where somebody's like, "You moron."
right. It sounds like it should be a game for both of us, really, right?
Yeah.
Like you and I.
Yeah.
Definitely, maybe not Curtis though. You throw
No.
pixels in there.
I mean, I have good vision. I like to use it for things that
Right.
look good.
Curtis wants as many pixels as possible.
Yeah, all the pixels.
4K is for the birds at this point, dude. Give me like 86K.
86. So another game I've been playing, I played through the full demo of Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, which just came out yesterday. It's on Game Pass. It's a Capcom title, so this is like a Japanese themed single player action strategy game, sort of tower defensey in a way as well. So essentially, you have like this goddess or this princess, and she has to get from point A to point B on like each battle you're doing. And there's like these shadow demon type things that are taking over the world. You go around and try and clear some of that out, and you draw a path for her to get to the gate, and she does some magic, opens the gate. You go through the next level. What happens in between that is that there's people you can save on the map, and then you can assign them a job. So you can say, all right, you're going to be a melee guy, you're going to be an archer, you're going to be a wizard, and then you can position them on the map. And the maps are designed kind of like a MOBA style, typically, where there's like maybe 3 or 4 different paths on the map. And so you can't cover every single way with them, but you as the player can run around and you have a sword, and this is where the action comes in, right? So it's like a hack and slash. You're doing cool moves, you're jumping in the air, you got special attacks and stuff. And you're trying to stop these monsters from progressing towards the goddess or the princess and killing her, essentially, right? So kind of clearing the path for her to get to the gate. And it's a lot of fun, actually. It was like a 2-hour demo, maybe. I would definitely, I've already deleted that and installed the Game Pass copy. I think it's worth a try for anybody that's into like Japanese themed games or even like hack and slash adventure games, and maybe a little bit of tower defense. It's not tower defense per se, like I said, but you got those elements where you're stationing guys around and they have different abilities that they can do. Have you guys looked at this one at all? Does it interest you?
I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, no, I've definitely looked at this one. Been pretty interested in it, and it's downloaded. I hit like the moment it went on download to console a few weeks ago or whatever
Right.
on Game Pass. I went ahead and reserved the space for it, and yeah, I'll probably jump into it. I got I probably won't be playing a whole lot of games over the next week, but
Yeah.
but yeah, no, this looks really good.
Yeah, and it's not that reviews are everything, but Steam 9 out of 10, GameSpot 8 out of 10, IGN 8 out of 10. So it's not like necessarily a mid-tier game. Like it's one that's kind of like out there for Capcom, like trying to start something new and different, and it's fairly received pretty well. So
All right, I'll give the. So you said you played the demo. Is the demo out or is the full game out?
no, they both are. So
Full
the
game
demo
just
came
came
out
out,
like
yeah.
this
Okay.
past week, like on a Monday or whatever, or maybe Monday. So I played the demo, and then the full game came out on Friday on Game Pass.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yep.
I'll check it out.
Yep, it's pretty cool. And then
that
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that Dungeons of Hinterberg and like Flintlock all came out like on the same day, and it was just kind of like
I saw Flintlock. Yeah. I installed it and I'm looking forward to it. Especially so I watched a lot of not a lot. I watched a couple of videos about Flintlock from my good buddy Jake Baldino over at Game Ranks, and there's
you guys are close,
there's
right?
yeah, dude. I'm going to his birthday party tomorrow.
Okay, good.
Happy birthday, Jake. So we're going No, now I'm thrown off. Flintlock. Uh, yeah, so Flintlock is a game that I'm looking forward to. It does it. So I was turned off when all of the gameplay made it look like pretty like hardcore Souls like. But after seeing like the actual reviews and everything, it's more of like it seems more like a kind of action, uh, not necessarily arcade, but like action RPG kind of thing rather than like a Souls like. So I'm gonna give it a try and see how it goes.
So when you say action RPG, you're not like, are you saying like Diablo like, or
No, no, no. To me,
is
it
are
looked more like. Go ahead.
I was saying because Souls is also, I guess, just a very hard action RPG as well, right? Like action RPG. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry, I was
guess.
just trying to get an idea because
Covers a
No,
lot of
yeah, I see what you're
things. Yeah.
saying. Yeah, I think I don't know what I would, based on what I see, I don't know what I would relate this to. It just didn't seem like a Souls. Like I haven't played anything
yeah.
in recent memory that I could compare it to combat
Okay.
wise.
I mean,
Um,
that's cool.
like I said, the trailers made it look very much like a Souls like style game. The actual reviews and stuff that I saw made it look a little bit less so. So I'm curious to see how it goes.
Do you think so? Look, the reviews were good, not great for this game, right? Like they were
Yep.
like 80ish, I think, on Metacritic or something like
Yeah.
that. So, do you think the fact that it wasn't a Souls like is do you think that may have brought it down? You haven't played it yet, so maybe you'll be able to tell after you play it. But like, I wonder if that like, oh, people are expecting a Souls like, and then they didn't get a Souls like, so maybe they didn't review it as well, or maybe I think I'm all about playing an 80, right? Like an 80 or an 8 out of 10 or whatever game, right? Like because you can still find great 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 games that are just not for everybody, right? But I was just curious, that had me thinking because like I was looking at that one that kind of fell to out of those 3 games that came out that day that fell to the bottom of my list, which is funny, ironic that I guess not ironic or whatever that it would be at the top of yours, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you're right. So it's definitely like a 7, 8 out of 10 game is what all our reviews are coming in at. And I think at least from what I have said, like you said, I haven't played it, so I can't confirm
Yeah.
for certain. I don't have an opinion on it just yet. But what the other folks have said, the combat I mean, it's not incredible. There's some minor, not necessarily bugs, but things that don't work just as snappy as they should. So I think it's getting that 7, 8 out of 10 score because of those kind of things, not necessarily because folks were expecting to be a Souls like or something like that. Um, from what I've read, it was like, oh, there's some issues when you're jumping around trying to grab on ledges, and she just decides not to grab on the ledge, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Mm. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna check this one out. It's just I'm with Evan, a little bit back on the list compared to some other ones that came out. Last game
Yeah.
for me that I played this week was Terraria. Actually reinstalled Terraria on the Xbox. I've played it a million.
Thanks
Oh
for the
man,
invite, bro.
going way back.
This was dude, this game's updated like all the time. It's insane like how much is in there now. Installed it on a whim just to see how my kid would play it, my daughter. So we played split screen co-op on Xbox. Got a little bit to go with her. She loved like actually seeing the stuff like building. She doesn't quite get how to build the stuff, but she was able to like defend herself and fight off some zombies and dig some tunnels. But that classic thing, like when you first start playing or a kid starts playing, you dig straight down and you fall like all the way down. They're like, how do I get out of here? I'm like, all right, I'll dig down and get you. Hold on. You know what I mean? So something we'll come back to, I think. But yeah, I wanted to install and see. But yeah, maybe we should run a Terraria server that people can hop in and out of. That'd be a cool idea.
There we go. Yeah, I'd like to jump back into Terraria. But
Is it crossplay?
yeah,
So like,
because
can you
I'm
Steam to
I'm
Xbox stuff
pretty
like that?
sure.
yeah, I've got it
Terraria.
on Xbox and Steam, and it's funny. It's a game that like gosh, when Mark and another buddy of ours helped me build my first gaming PC, and of course knowing me, that was the first game that caught my eye because it had beautiful pixel art. And
Absolutely. Don't want to stress that graphics card.
that's right.
What graphics card?
And
On the Intel integrated.
yeah, well, hey, you were the one that recommended my graphics card at the time, GTX 6 something 50 or something like that. But anyway, at the time, and but yeah, dude, I just like I remember getting this. I think this was prior to big picture mode on Steam, but I ran an HDMI cable from my tower in my in our college apartment to my TV and just laid in bed and played that game for 12 hours straight. And
It's so good,
and
dude. It's so fun.
it it is. And then if you look at my Steam hours played on that game, it's like 13.1 hours. So I was like, apparently I played that for one day, a little bit late, a little bit more, and then never touched it again until we played a little bit on Xbox, several years ago. But like, that's definitely a game that I would love to jump back into. To me, it's like, it's just more interesting take on Minecraft, Skyrim.
Yeah.
But because it's different, right? But it's like
Similar
and
concepts,
it's also
right?
right. You said your daughter playing it or whatever. I'm like, you watch a trailer of the game, you're like, oh, this would be a great kids game, and then like, but it's like you start playing that game, there's so much, like
It can
there's so
get
much depth
intricate.
to that.
Yeah. No crossplay right now. 2023 was supposed to be the year of crossplay according to the dev. Clearly not out yet. There is crossplay between PC and mobile, but not the consoles yet. But I have it on everything, so willing to fire it up and make a server. I also got a Steam Deck I can dock and play on the TV, so you gotta get you one of those, Curtis.
Actually, I was looking into getting one while I'm back in the States next week, and I started reading the review. Not necessarily reading the reviews. Started comparing like the Steam Deck to the Asus one, to the Logitech one. Started looking at all of these things, what they offer for the different ones, and I was really heavily almost ready to pull the trigger on the Steam Deck until I saw that it doesn't do like full HD, right? And for me, what I would want to be using it for is having it connected to the TV. And so if I'm connected and playing something on TV, I don't want to. What is it, like 700p? I think it plays on. And so started looking into that, started looking into the pluses and minuses of all of the different ones, and then ultimately decided I think I was going to wait for the next generation of Steam Deck because all the rumors are pointing to probably a next year release. So hopefully they'll kind of pop up those graphics a little bit, bump those rookie numbers up, and it might be something in my wheelhouse when I get back to the States later next year.
You got some leak from one of your one of the resources, one of your sources in the gaming industry that you gotta just maybe.
Hey, man, I said rumors. All right, rumors.
You've been talking to Gabe again.
That's G14 classified.
Steam Deck, yeah, you are right. The handhelds,
it's 900p, right?
It's 1280. It's 1280 by 800. The OLED might be 900p, but when docked, you can go up to 4K, 120 hertz. Like, you just got to change the settings. So, and then from there, it just depends on the
I was reading about that. Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly right. So if I was Evan and playing games that don't need anything more than 3 frames per second, then that would be great. But that's not really what I would be using. I think
every one of the games I have in my library can play at 4K 120 because they don't demand anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've said before, like Helldivers 2, I play at like 40 frames per second at like whatever 800p resolution or whatever. So it depends on the game you're playing, right? Like Planet Crafters, you're probably going to run that at 4K 30 or something. I have no idea. I mean, it can't be that crazy. So
I think I'm just going to wait. And what I ultimately ended up doing, because again, especially since I started doing this with you guys, I've been playing way more games than I have previously. So, but I like to sit on the couch and play, right? So I dusted off my old desktop computer and set up Steam Link so that I can just stream from my good computer in the office and sit on the couch and take advantage of that. I don't do an amount of travel that I would get a whole lot of use out of the handheld portion. So for me, what it was really going to be used for is to allow me or enable me to play my Steam library on my TV. So I think I'll just wait until the next one comes out and stick with Steam Link for the next year or so.
I've got
Man,
one.
tell me you don't have kids. Tell me you don't have kids without telling me you don't have kids, right?
Yeah, and
I
also
just play on the TV. What do you mean? You get to use the TV?
right, right. And
Oh,
I got
man.
one
I don't know what
question.
that's like.
Got one question for you. How many times a day do you sit on the toilet? There's some handheld time there.
But I mean, I don't. I mean, you're not wrong. But then in that case, now that I got Xbox streaming, slap that little controller on there, Slay the Spire all day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I play a lot of
Be in
my
there for
Slay the
2
Spire
hours.
on mobile through iOS. We talked about this offline, Apple Arcade, which is awesome that it's on
Yep.
there. So, okay, now that we're 45 minutes into the show, for our opening,
Ouch.
what have you been playing? No, it's good.
There goes Evan again.
It's good discuss. Yeah, we just blame Evan. It's good discussion. Let's finish our what we've been playing by parlaying into Remote Plays Game Pass.
Our
So.
homework.
Yeah, we all had homework from last episode. We started the segment Remote Plays Game Pass. So we did a Game Pass mystery wheel, if you will, mystery box. And we each picked a game that we had to play that we've not played before, and we got to put at least 1 hour into. And so I guess I'll go first just because I'm already talking, and then we'll pitch it back around the horn. So my first game was a short hike. And this is an interesting game. This is a 10 out of 10 on Steam. I mean, it's pretty highly rated. It's on Switch, it's on PS4, it's on Xbox. I think there's like two developers to this, made in Unity. It's a short game, as said in the title. I put in about a little over my 1 hour and immediately uninstalled it. I did not like. I could respect the game for what it was. It's a beautiful little like voxel art game. Gave me like warm, cozy feeling vibes. You're kind of like exploring around as a bird. You're talking to these different animals. You're going on this adventure. You're trying to. It's a collectathon, essentially a platforming collectathon. Massive respect, and I loved like looking at it. Did not love playing it. This is something I would watch a Let's Play, and maybe at a different point with different setting, maybe like if I was younger and I had more time, or it was like winter break from school, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna fire this up and play this for a few hours. I just could not get into it, and part of it was the openness of it and the dialogue. There was a lot of dialogue to click through and talk to people that felt meaningless in a way. And sorry if I offend anybody that likes this game, but it just did not land for me. Have either of you played this game, and what'd you think?
I have not played. I had not heard of it until it popped up on the randomizer.
I don't know, I was checking Kurt's Steam page the other day, and said he had 100 hours in this game. So I don't. No, so I have played this game, and like I said, like I was surprised you didn't play with the kids, right? So like my son and wife actually just adored this game, and they played through it and beat it. I played a little bit of it. I will say for such a short game, it takes a bit to get going. Like so because there is a lot of dialogue in the beginning, and like the first area of the game is slow moving, and then once it opens up you start getting into a lot more like exploration, and just like the puzzles get a little more engaging, and so I and according to your Xbox profile you played 59 minutes, just to be clear.
You had one job. You couldn't even get that full hour in.
No, I played over an hour. The Xbox activity was messing up. I had already played for well over an hour, and then I checked that, and it said 59 minutes, and that's when I sent you the screenshot. And then I walked around for a minute.
Azure outage the other day, right?
Yeah,
Game Pass just wasn't recording it. Right?
I would like walk around for 2 more minutes just to check the timer, and it stayed at 59. So I don't know what was going on there, but I played for over an hour.
But yeah, no, like I said, I can understand like the first hour honestly being a little bit slow to get into, and then but there's quite a bit of dialogue there. But like I said, once you start getting more of those feathers, and you get a little more stamina, basically is what those feathers are. And
yeah, because you like extra jumping and flying. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And it's just like it's got the parasailing stuff. Honestly, so visually, like it's a really cool game, and from like trailers and stuff, like I thought it was great. And then, like, but like when I was playing it, like I don't want to say it hurt my eyes a little bit, but like it just had this like just a little bit of like, I don't know if there was like some aliasing or something that was
Yeah,
happening.
exactly it.
Like,
Yeah, like this aliasing
like
fuzziness as you moved and
like
shifted.
almost, yeah, almost like the borders of any part of the any asset, right? Like would just kind of had this like shaky blurriness to them that like I said, I don't know if hurt my eyes is the right word, but like it just kind of was like it was a
Yeah,
little
that
bit
bothered me
jarring.
too. Yeah.
But like otherwise, I mean, it was like pretty to look at, right? Like it was good art. It was just something about the that just threw me off a little bit.
Yeah, and like I said, mad respect for the game. It did seem like something I would see out of a game jam. Like, you do a game jam, they came up with this cool voxel art style game, and then extrapolated it into something else and released a 3 to 5 hour game. Super awesome. Um, I just couldn't get into it, so that was my
So when
my
you're
pick
talking
this
about the
week.
dialogue,
Yeah.
is it all like text based? There's no voiceovers.
Yes, and I think
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
dude, and you know what
Yeah.
you know what I was thinking during
Curtis
this?
already said he can't read, right?
Exactly. I want my pixels dedicated to great graphics, not letters.
Right. It reminded me of Pokemon, and like in Pokemon, sometimes I'll click through a lot of the dialogue. Like
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep,
and it was
same.
just like that. And this I thought this while I was playing it, and I'm like, I'm gonna sound like such a snob, but Baldur's Gate 3 has ruined a lot of dialogue stuff for me because it is just so good, and it's all voice acted extremely well. Everything else is downhill from that.
So
Again.
I've been like that for a very long time, and not necessarily because of Baldur's Gate, although I do completely agree that it just kills everything in that genre. Like as big as of a Warhammer guy that I am, I haven't even tried the Inquisitor game because it's all you got to read everything, right? But like I just have like the utmost respect for good voice actors and good voice acting. So whenever I'm playing a game, if even the dozens and dozens of hours of Animal Crossing that I've played, right? Give those little guys some voices, man. Like make it even more cute than it already is.
They do
So
have
I.
voices.
Yes. You sounded more like a Murloc, but I'm not gonna hold that against you.
Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah. No, I agree, man.
So, but no, I completely agree with you. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I don't know how to talk about it without being like uppity, like, oh, I can't do that. I would read it if I was heavily invested in the game or the genre, maybe. Then I'd be like, I'm all in. I'll read this. I'm gonna keep reading through all this. But the voice acting is kind of a must. I'm over. It's 2024, and I get their small budget games. You're not gonna be able to talk, and really, this is animals, right? So maybe you're not gonna have them talk, but it's just hard to go to just read over. And some of the dialogue in these games that we try, especially on Game Pass, these like indie or AA games, the dialogue can be very corny. It's not that top tier writing you get in some other AAA games, and it's unfortunate.
I love the corny writing.
I
actually think that's part of why I like Hades and Hades 2 so well, is the voice acting is incredible in those. And you get splashes of that throughout the game constantly. Anyway, that was my Remote Plays Game Pass game. Let's round the horn.
You watch anime dubbed only then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Dubbed only. No.
Yeah, right? Because you can't read. You can't be bothered to read.
No, there's voice acting in it.
Yeah, but you can't understand it.
I'm getting the translation.
Are you watching them in English or in Japanese? I think is what he's asking.
Yeah, Japanese with subtitles.
Yeah, so you're still reading. You said you couldn't be bothered to read, I guess.
No, yeah, but that's totally different, I think, when you're listening to something and reading a translation versus just reading.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's what I was getting at.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
For reference, I only watch English.
Really? Oh,
I really do. Yeah.
All right, let's all turn our nose up.
Yeah, right. I will say, since I've had kids, I've gone to dubbed because I can't pay attention to a child pulling on my controllers and getting into cabinets that he shouldn't be getting into, or they shouldn't be getting into.
Yeah, right.
while also reading subtitles.
Evan, what was your game?
So yeah, my homework was Persona 3 Reload off of Game Pass, and I started that up. So I played Persona 5 a little bit when it was on Game Pass, and I enjoyed it enough, but I bounced off of it after a few hours, just because like I just wasn't like I was like okay, I was in a place where I was like I'm ready to put another 100 and some hours into this game. Persona 3, on the other hand, so I have, gosh, I want to say 5 or 6 hours into Persona 3 now. So I did extra credit on my homework.
Heck
I'm
yeah,
like,
you did. Nice job.
somebody, yeah, that's right. But I mean, to be fair, Mark probably played 25% of a short hike, where I have barely scratched the surface of maybe 2% of Persona 3 Reload. But but yeah, uh, I am all in on this game. Honestly, I love this so much, and like maybe it's just like I've been in a JRPG mode recently, and um and Persona 3 is just like cream of the or the Persona series, I guess, is kind of cream of the crop when it comes to JRPGs these days, right? Like what Atlas is doing out there. They have they have a lot of voice acting. For JRPGs, you usually do get a lot of just text-based dialogue. And then or you get, like, your main in Persona, at least Persona 3 Reload is um it's you get your main cutscenes are fully voice acted, and then you get some of the other side cutscenes that are just like, oh hey, and then it's like a stream of text, right? Like for the dialogue, or like the only voice acting is just like the gist of what the dialogue says, and then there's a lot of dialogue. But yeah, I'm feeling it, and I'm so ready to, like, I'm just like, you know what, I'm ready to put 100 hours into this game, and then 100 hours into Persona 4, and then another 100 hours into Persona 5 right now, right? And I've been singing its praises on our Discord. I got Funk on the Discord to jump into it. He's been wanting to get into it for a long time, so we've been talking a little bit on it on the side for like some stuff that we don't want to spoil in the Discord in case people do want to jump into it. But no, this game, it's funny. Something I don't, like I said, I'm kind of more in the mindset to play a Persona game right now than I think I was with Persona 5. But like something about like um the just this, I don't know if it's the setting or the presentation, or maybe Persona 3 just didn't have as much going on as at the start as Persona 5 did in the first few
Mhm.
hours. But like Persona 3 it hooked me so much quicker than Persona 5. For me, Persona 5 is like, okay, this is pretty good, and I understand it's a long game, so it might take a little bit to get going. But Persona 3, I'm just like, I'm in it. I'm in it. Let's go. I'm doing the side jobs. I'm going and making money and stuff in the evenings, and
Dang,
hitting the
this guy's
yeah,
living a
yeah.
second life.
He really is, dude.
It's so good. Like I was just like I had to convince myself. I wanted to play Dungeon at Hinterberg last night before we jumped into here too. So I was just kind of like onto this. So it's like, all right, I've done more than my homework for the Game Pass plays, right? Remote Plays Game Pass rather.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I wanted to try Hinterberg, to talk about that a little bit too. So, but I had to like pull myself away from like playing Persona 3. Um, and it's good if you like JRPGs, if you've played any Atlas games and you like them, any Atlas games, I highly, highly, highly recommend jumping into this. Also, yeah, I'm like, I gotta keep an eye on Shin Megami Tensei 3, 5 that's out,
Mhm.
right? They
Mhm.
just put out the definitive version of that or whatever. I'm starving for some Atlas right now. It's good.
Um, would you go after Unicorn Overlord, or even just pivoting a little more, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, since they're on Game Pass?
Yeah.
We have
So
some, just really quick. We have some listeners actually that I was talking to this past week that are playing through that right now. So that's why I brought it up.
oh,
Through
okay.
which one?
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Octopath 2 has definitely been on my list for a long time. Really since it came out. It came out, and like, so the first game really caught my attention. I loved the visual style. That was like that
Yeah,
kicked off this 2D, HD 2D
HD 2.5D type.
trend, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was so striking, that visual art style, that when they announced that years ago at this point. But and the game came out and it was just like, oh, it's a bit of a grind, right? Like which JRPGs can be, but it's like it sounded like it's pretty slow moving for a JRPG, and it was like, oh, that's too bad to hear. And but like Octopath Traveler 2, on the other hand, it sounds like people love this game. They're like, this is everything we wanted the first game to be, kind of thing.
Do you need to play the
that's
first
definitely
one or know about it before the second one?
Nope. Yeah, you can just jump right into the second.
That's really good.
That
to know,
changes things for me. Yeah.
All right, now we've got a genre that overlaps all three of us, right? So
A little bit.
Yeah. So Octopath Traveler 2 is definitely one I want to play, at least while it's on Game Pass. I keep an eye on Deku deals for the physical Switch edition, the Switch's physical edition, just because I don't know,
waiting for that
something about
$3 sale.
That's right, because it has gone down to like $30, and I'm like,
Dude, I literally just type in Deku deals and Octopath Traveler 2 is like the first thing that came up.
nice. Yeah. But it's, that back to, we talked about this last episode, Curtis, about like, it's a game on Game Pass. Can I spend money on this game if it's
For
on
sure.
Game Pass? And it's like $3 that I paid for whatever game we were talking about last time. That was one thing. Oh, Frostpunk. But
Yeah.
$30 is a little bit different, right? But
For sure.
But yeah, and actually Unicorn Overlord just went $30 physical
Mhm.
at GameStop or something last week. So that's one's got a little bit of Fire Emblem type of combat, right? If I'm not mistaken. But that looks pretty good though. Yeah, definitely both games that are on my radar, and I love that visual art style. I'm playing I've played a little bit of Star Ocean 2 remake, which has a similar art style, right? Like it's not that's not Square doing it, but right? But
So Persona.
So let's come full circle back to Persona. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Persona.
Mark asked about
yeah. So
hey,
he's
you
so
asked a
so you're
sidetrack
all in on
question. I just
Persona.
sidetracked.
Huge success for you on Remote Plays Game Pass. Persona 3.
Oh yeah,
You found something that you've tried it before, right? But now that you've played this one, you kind of latched onto it. So it's success, right?
absolutely.
Curtis,
And
go ahead. Final thought.
I would say it speaks a lot to the what the value Game Pass brings, right? We've talked I've talked about the games I played, Persona 3, Dungeons of Hinterberg. We've talked about Flintlock and what was the game that you played? Path of the Goddess. Tanitagami.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other games that gosh, another game that I've been playing. Oh, Vemba. It was another game. All these games that I've been playing, all on Game Pass, right? This is the value. I would have never played Vemba. I would have never, and I wouldn't recommend spending $20 or $15 or whatever the cost of Vemba is at full price.
Right.
Because I beat it in an hour and a half. But for Game Pass, I was like, sweet, I am glad I got to play that. I got that 90 minutes out of value out of my Game Pass subscription. It's like obviously Persona is on the other opposite side of the coin, right? Like it's almost a game you might buy because it might be off Game Pass before you can put 150 hours into it, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's good for those smaller studios to get exposure for their games, I think. So
Yeah,
definitely.
Curtis, what was the game that you had on Game Pass?
So I had The Last Case of Benedict Fox. I downloaded this while we were still in the podcast. I kicked off the download. This is a side-scrolling platforming, a little bit of like 2D combat kind of thing. I fired it up. Immediately was I was appreciative of the color palette that they used for this game. So it was very dark, kind of a colorful noir style thing, like very dark, lots of deep purples and blues and stuff like that. Overall, I really like the visual appeal from the moment that I turned it on. Then when I started it, everything else went off the rails and pretty much immediately, like within about 45 seconds. So you start off so there's a really short, like maybe 30 to 60 second kind of cutscene, I guess you could call it, to kind of like give a little bit about the story of like why you're there. Forgettable. I don't remember a single thing about it. And then you jump into a tutorial that was about just as long, and basically it taught you how to jump, how to use the little melee combat to charge up your pistol, and then how to shoot your pistol. And then from there, it's like, all right, cool. the case is on. Let's go to the house that you start off in. I think it's, if I remember, is your father's or your brother's house. You go there, and then the whole time there's this other voice that's talking to you, right? And this guy is like the companion, is what they call him, and so he's kind of like a Cthulhu-y looking style monster. Some of the other monsters in there
Yeah,
were
it's
very like
Lovecraftian,
Cthulhu
right?
reminiscent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's talking to you, he's helping you with the cases basically. So I got behind that. I was like, all right, cool, this guy's like, you know, because the case that you're working on is like otherworldly, like X-File-y kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, oh yeah, the brain demon sucked this guy's thoughts, and we have to go back and collect them. And so you're running around like across the map, and it's like roguelike elements, right? So you die, you end up respawning like back up at the top level of the map, but everything that you've explored is still explored, so you like can know where to go. You can unlock little portals and stuff, so you don't have to run the entire way there. There's a lot of different puzzles in there, and I couldn't figure out any of them because you got to get parts from multiple different locations that you have to all unlock all of those locations before you can get to those. So
Metroidvania.
yeah, it's just like it was way more in depth for what this actually was, and I really wanted to. I didn't like the combat. One thing I did really appreciate about this game is they have a plethora of menu options that you can go in there, and you can turn it up to I hate my life and I want to turn this to, you know, the hardest Evan level strategy game, a 2D thing that you want to, or I'm literally only playing this because I thought of this segment and now I have to honor it and turn it down to dumb mode where I don't want to do puzzles, I don't want to do combat, I want to roll through here like a god, which is what I set that to.
Maybe that was the problem.
No, it wasn't the problem because I still couldn't get through any of the puzzles because all the stuff is locked behind other puzzles. So like, yeah, it wasn't for me.
But Curtis does
but
not like Metroidvanias. Just remember that.
that is correct. So I was kind of excited because I do like detective stuff. I do like, you know,
Yeah.
solving like that kind of genre. So I was excited when Evan was aware of this and he kind of told me what it was ahead of time. But after my hour, immediately uninstalled. I was like, I can't play this anymore. I don't like the way that things are locked behind multiple different things to be able to get to this next thing that you need to do. It's just more of that redoing. Actually, I talked about this already. Is redoing work you've already done, right? And that is not what I'm here. It's just not for me.
He's like, I'm all
So-
business, baby.
Exactly. So I won't play this one again, but I did feel like I owed more to this segment than to just come and bash on this game. So I was like, what can I do? I went through Game Pass to find similar games, or if you go into the game, it was like, oh, other people like these titles too, right?
Yeah.
So I found SteamWorld Dig. And downloaded SteamWorld
have
Dig,
that.
and I actually enjoyed that game. I don't know how far into it. I think I've unlocked the achievement that says like you've reached the bottom of the mine, so I think I'm pretty far into it. But I've actually like I wish I would have gotten SteamWorld and had that extra hour that I put in Benedict into SteamWorld, because that game I just enjoyed so much more, and I wanted to kind of challenge myself and be like, hey, listen, this genre that you don't typically like let's see if there are some out there that
That's good.
maybe aren't quite as bad. So I would say I've probably played like 4-ish hours of SteamWorld, and I mean I enjoyed just about every bit of that.
The different SteamWorld games are really good. Just really quick,
Yeah,
Evan.
I was gonna say.
I looked at the video of this while he was talking. Not a game I would ever recommend for Curtis. So I'm just dying laughing inside when he's describing this.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the thing that I think irritated me the absolute most is, and I hate when games do this, is probably one of my top 3 like hated mechanics, if you could even call it that. So you're going through that super short tutorial that I told you about, right? And your little like Dark Void companion guy is there. He gives you the ability to like do your double and triple jumps and like use your
Pulls it
power
back.
attacks and stuff like that. The moment the game starts, oh sorry dude, there's this bad like ultra aura around here. My powers are diminished, so I can't do anything. Got to take that down before you can actually play the game with the the way it was designed.
I knew he was going to
It's like,
say that.
okay,
As
That's
soon
the
as he
Samus
started,
effect. That's the Samus effect, right? That
Yep.
that is the Metroidvania.
yeah, you lose all your
you know,
powers
like
at the
Met-
beginning. You got to collect them over time to get
yeah,
back.
it's
You
ridiculous.
get a taste of the godlike powers.
Mhm. So did you like Destiny 2 when it came out?
I mean,
Does
I
it-
don't remember
I
playing
said,
a lot of it, to be
isn't
honest.
that how it started? Didn't you start with all your powers from Destiny 1 basically, and then like it stripped away all your subclasses and all that stuff, right? But the
don't
original
recall
vanilla
that.
Destiny 2. Maybe I don't know.
I'll
maybe
take your word for it.
You're not
but
too
I
far
don't
off,
remember
but I
that.
don't think it's ultimately comparable.
Right. But yeah, no, that's the classic Metroidvania. So, but I am you know, I was ready to just give you a hard time about, you know, like not having that you redeemed your or, you know, not being having broaden your horizons or having an open mind, but then you redeem yourself with SteamWorld. I've never actually played the SteamWorld games. I played SteamWorld Heist, right? So it's a whole IP, and they have SteamWorld Dig 1, SteamWorld Dig 2, both on Game Pass, by the way. Also good news for you. You said you like this game. I'm like, well, I got some good news for you. You got
Oh
a
boy,
couple
here
of
we
these
go.
games. You got SteamWorld, what is it, Hand of Gilgamesh?
SteamWorld Quest, yep, and that was the one I was going to recommend to him.
SteamWorld Quest. That's a deck building SteamWorld game.
Yes, I would
Oh,
recommend
that's
this game to
interesting.
you.
Yeah, and then SteamWorld Heist is it's a like a tactics game, right? It's a like a turn-based uh not XCOM, it's side scrolling, right? Do you Mark, do you
You're
have
talking
a good fit
about
for
you're
this?
talking about Heist? Is that the one you're talking about?
SteamWorld Heist. Yeah. So that's the one I've played where you go in,
Yeah, it's a
you're like
turn-based tactics. Yes.
yeah, so you like you go mount to other ships or whatever, link to other ships, and then you try like you're I can't remember if you're the pirates or you're taking on pirates, basically space pirates. But um yeah, it's you know, again, that sounds like something that might be a little more up your alley too.
Yeah.
So you got a whole SteamWorld IP to dive into, Chris.
And actually,
It's pretty.
Go ahead.
That's pretty interesting because I just like I said, I picked this solely because one, I for some reason I have this weird affinity to like mining in a video game. Anytime like there's mining, I'm always like down to give it a try, which is why I picked this one out of the list of like what other games have played to begin with. But that it's I was not aware, and it's really cool to see like that the company that makes this, whoever they may be, like has this universe that they're building different style games around. So I'll have to check that out. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this some of the characters in this actually remind me of like your uncle's designs of the robots and stuff. It's not one for one or anything, but it just comes to mind.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
So
I did think the same thing.
I'll be honest, like I've never actually fully finished one of the SteamWorld games, but I own like 4 or 5 of them on the Switch, and then obviously there's some on Game Pass. I've played them really far. The ratings are really good on almost all of them across the board. So yeah, you might actually like them. The Quest one I think is the one that's cool. It's similar to Slay the Spire in a little bit, in that you have like 3 or 4 guys on your side, maybe 3 or 4 guys on the other side, and then it's card based with a hand in front of you, and you're playing the cards and stuff, doing the turn based battle. So it's a good one to check out.
I'll have to check it out.
I think they have a crafting survival game too, right? Was that was their
is that the
most recent
newest
or
one?
The newest one, and then they also recently announced SteamWorld Heist 2. So that again, that turn-based tactics.
Oh,
game.
you're thinking SteamWorld Build. That's the city building. I tried that, and I fell off it pretty quick. I think I'll get into this more like as we do more podcast episodes, but tutorials are a big thing for me, and if they're too slow and too handholdy, like a mobile game or something, it drives me insane, and I fall off the game like super fast.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
You guys want to
see how rapidly we went from last case of Benedict Cumberbatch into SteamWorld? That's how forgettable that game is. Don't waste your time. Let's go ahead and remove that slot from Game Pass. Let's get something good that's in there to fill
I
that
hope we
slot.
don't have a last case of Benedict Cumberbatch Stan in the Discord server or the subs.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
let's pick our next game. Who wants to
Let's
be
do it.
first?
Oh, are we doing this every week now? Okay.
Yeah,
This is a weekly thing,
yeah.
baby. Look
I
how
like it.
look-
It was good discussion.
let's get our Game Pass value, bro.
Oh man. Listen. If I get another 150 hour JRPG, it's just we're gonna have to slow it down a little bit because I'm trying
I
to play
love it.
some of these games.
Do we want to give
You
each
guys
other
got-
one skip? Do we want to do that? Be like one skipper?
No.
No
Skips.
Alright.
The only skip
I'll,
is if you get if you've already played it.
Or if it's PC because Evan can't run it.
or
PC.
or if it's another 150 hour game and I've already got one that I mean it ruins the heart, the soul of this segment, right? Is to discover new games that you want to play. I've discovered a new 150 hour game that I want to play, and here you guys like, I don't know, you got to go play a different game.
Just for 1
We're
hour.
not saying you can't play that game. We're just saying you have to remove 1 hour,
Listen.
set that aside, and put it into this new game.
I'll-
that's
What
about
if
to
what if
pop
it's a
up.
150 hour game that I want to play? Now I've got
Well, then-
300 hours of games.
I was going to say, put that after Persona 19 or whatever one it was.
I'll even say for those of us with kids, it counts if your kid plays it and you sit there with them.
All right,
Like I could have done
I'll
like
go
a
with that.
short hike. Like I could have let my daughter play and then watched, or it helped, or whatever. Do you guys want me to hit the button? I have it up, unless one of you wants to do the honors.
Do it, baby.
Okay, who's first?
Curtis,
Okay.
get him another Metro.
All right, here we go.
Redeem me, bro. Give me
All right.
something good.
I've got nothing right now.
Celeste,
Mystery
please.
game awaits you.
Celeste. Let's
Ghostwire
go.
Tokyo.
Ghostwire
okay.
Tokyo. I've never played this. I'm
Miss Tango.
slightly familiar with it, but I've never played it. So let's do
Action
it.
horror.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
I would have played that one. I would have been happy with that.
Action horror from Tango Gameworks, the creators of the wonderful Hi-Fi Rush and Evil Within series.
How long to beat is 11 hours for main story.
I will say I have a pretty staunch stance on not playing horror games, so I might hit my hour and then immediately turn it off. But
I don't.
I
It's
will
not
honor
like
the
scary
game.
horror. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I think it's more like thriller. So, like, yeah, it's
Okay,
more.
okay,
like,
gotcha.
It's more action based, from what I understand, because it's a game I've looked into, and I'm not huge on horror. And I mean, I did play RE2, but
right.
but I'm not into something like The Evil Within or Silent Hill.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
you
Okay,
know,
cool.
like that those times. Yeah. I don't. It's not that bad.
All right.
But it's
Well, who's up next?
Who's next?
All right,
Me or Evan?
let's go with you, Mark.
All right,
I'm
me.
I'm just holding off as long as I can here.
There we go. It is
Hoping
Wolfenstein
Azure
2,
has
the
no
new
route.
Colossus. I will definitely take this one and play it.
All right.
I will say that I did play the first one. I didn't finish it. So, huge Wolfenstein fan from all the previous games. I fired up the first one. I wasn't in love with the tutorial and some of the clunkiness. Again, here comes the tutorial. But this one's supposed to be better, and it does say it's like a 9.1 out of 10. This was a 2017 game, obviously from Bethesda. Well, the studios at least, and 11 hours for a main story. So
Right on.
I played some of this on Switch. I can't remember if it was Wolfenstein 2 or first one. I wanna say
probably
it was the second
one, probably the first one.
I thought
Right?
it was the second one because
New
it
Order?
came out like I don't know, maybe I don't know. I got it when I picked up Diablo 3. Like Walmart Black Friday had like Diablo 3, Wolfenstein, and 1 or 2, and something else for like $15 a piece. And I went and picked them up. I played this a little bit, and I did not like it on Switch. Maybe I would like it better on something like Xbox, but
Yeah.
I love the setting, this alt history, like
Yeah.
German, like going through Nazi,
Absolutely.
like oh man, I mean the lore sounds fantastic.
Yeah, same.
And,
Anything where it's like whatever the Nazis were like doing their secret experiments on because they were so obsessed with like the occult and certain things and certain branches of their party, if you will. Yeah, I'm all about these games. All right, ready for Evans? Crisis.
Crisis.
Have you played it?
Have you never played Crisis?
I've never played Crisis.
Dang, this was the shiz back in the day.
I never
dude.
had a
Dude.
PC that could run it.
Oh my god,
That's fair. That's a valid
This
concern.
thing was the game that made your PC cry back in 2011.
Yeah, this was the benchmark. Oh, dude, I can get medium settings on Crisis. What?
What?
Right.
And then remember, like the
Right.
the grass was actually moving and the trees were moving and the rain was
Yep,
coming down.
yep.
You're like, oh my god! We don't get a lot of those moments anymore in gaming. Those evolutions.
No, for sure.
So if I have this on Steam, can I play it on my Steam Deck, or do I have to play it through Game
I think
Pass?
it's fine. Is that fine?
Yeah, as long as you're playing the game.
9.5 hours, and this is Crisis 1, so you don't even have to jump to like a newer one.
I have played this. It's been a very long time since I've played it. But when it got like old enough to the point where like my middle of the road PC could actually run it, then I downloaded and played it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I don't think I beat it, but I thought the aesthetic, I thought everything about it was really cool. I do remember having a good time with it. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts, and I'm super excited that you got like one of the most visually amazing games in the world, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, I don't know what all these pixels are. This is wild.
Remember,
I won't be able to handle it. I won't be able to handle it.
remember like Maxwell's CDs or discs or whatever? I don't know if you remember the ad. It's a guy in a chair getting blown away from the sound. That's Evan when this game fires up. The claim to fame for this game, besides the graphics, was the incredible enemy AI at the time. I don't know if you guys remember this, but previously the AI in games like, I'm gonna hide behind a wall. I'm gonna come out and shoot. I stay in this area. I patrol from point A to point B. These guys would actually work together, and start to circle you around. Yeah, and you know that's a normal thing now. But this is why, because of this game. So just a little gaming history for you.
I'm excited for all of us. I think we got some pretty legit options here.
Yeah, this should be good. What I'd like to do is talk a little bit about Game Pass changes. Since we're on that title, I know the podcast listeners are like, oh my god, sick of hearing about Game Pass, but it's in the news a lot, right? So they had a lot of changes in their tiers, and it's been very confusing for a lot of people. And Xbox already gets a lot of hate, even though they're in third place. They get hate like they're the first place winner, but they're at the back of the race when it comes to the big three. But they essentially changed some of the tiers that they had. They're going to increase the price. This bottom tier now does not get games on day one release. So you're thinking like Call of Duty and that type of stuff, Halo, whatever it is that comes out, Gears, not on day one. I just want to see what each of your thoughts are on this, and then I'll chime in. And is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a normal thing? Are you up in arms about it? Are you going to drop your Game Pass sub? Let's cover some of those topics.
I mean, I don't think they well before the finalization of the Blizzard acquisition, right? They told us like, changes are going to be coming to Game Pass. Like, I don't understand why people are so like, oh my god, this is just absolute evil. How could you do this to us? How could you just go spend $500 billion on Blizzard to get this game and then not give it to me for the exact same price that I've been paying? I don't understand that at all. Like, you have to recoup your investment from a business standpoint in one way or the other. As much as I talked about how much I hate metrics and stuff like that, they legitimately cannot go out and make an acquisition like that and provide that service without some way to recoup that money and then grow that money that they put into it.
Right, it's an investment.
As much as exactly, yeah. As much as I dislike it, I'm not saying that I like it, but I understand it, because the alternative is they just buy it and then nothing else changes. You still have to buy that game every year, and now they're just they're just increasing their profits that way. It's still if you buy 3 to 4 games a year, even with the price increases at the most the highest tier, the ultimate tier, then it still makes sense for you to keep Game Pass, because not only are you going to be able to play those games that you're already going to buy to begin with, you're also going to have the opportunity to play other random sleeper stuff that pops up, like Flintlock 22 or anything else that they pop up that you've always had your eye on.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that I'm like, yeah, here, please take my extra cash. But I don't think it deserves, like most things, not all, but most things that they get, I don't think it deserves the level of ire that it's drawing.
Yeah, and I think this is like the norm in streaming. Evan and I talked about this Netflix and these other companies, the prices are going up. They are increasing. Of course, nobody wants
For
to pay
everything,
more,
yeah.
right? But it is going up. And even Netflix, right? The password crackdown, they introduced an ad tier. People are like, who's going to watch an ad tier? The lowest tier is so stupid. It's one of their most popular tiers. People are
Yep.
using the cheapest ad tier. They don't care. And I think that's going to happen with Game Pass. Sometimes they're like, I guess I don't need it on day one. I'll play it in 6 months or a year, whatever. There's
Yeah,
100
yeah,
other games on there,
exactly.
200 other games. And actually, Netflix just posted like big revenue increase again that they credited to the ad tier, to that bottom tier. So this is like straight out of the streaming playbook to me. Like, I'm totally not shocked by Xbox and Microsoft doing this. Again, I don't want to pay. Nobody wants to pay more for what they're already getting.
Exactly,
And
sure.
maybe I don't feel so strongly about it because I'm already subbed up for like, another 2 years since I stacked my
Yep.
subscription. So maybe I'll feel differently
Same.
once the bill, starts to hit, and I'll rethink that. But, Evan, what are you thinking about this?
Would you believe me if I said no? I have no comments, no thoughts.
I don't want
Not
to.
for a second.
Well, that's good because I do.
Yeah.
So, Mark, so you and I, like I said, we talked about this. We actually recorded about a 30-minute segment that we decided to just kind of throw in the bin because I talked in circles a little bit and we just kind of I didn't really care for the tone, I think, of
Yeah.
that discussion. But I've changed my stance a little bit on that.
Mm.
I don't want to say I've gone full 180, but like we talked about the price, all these services have price increases. Nobody likes them. Nobody wants to see the price increases except for the shareholders, right?
Right.
Which is what business exists for right now, right? Or shareholders. And which is too bad, but not to harp too much on that price increase just because it just feels like it's par for the course. The changes and stuff were confusing, right? Like the tiers are already confusing, and then you
Yeah.
change them again, make it more confusing, right? And this whole Xbox has been marketing day one with Game Pass has been like the biggest push they've made for Game Pass, right? We've talked before about how Xbox is terrible at marketing. They don't really spend, especially Europe is in particular is one, but really as a whole, Xbox doesn't market very very well, and that's part of the problem. Like people don't even know what Game Pass is, and you're changing things up or whatever. But maybe that's part of like. So I was having a lot of issues and stuff with that. Like you're making it confusing. You're making this like like what's this standard tier? It seems pointless. But I kind of like thought like a little bit, and I was like, okay, like if Game Pass came out and they started with Game Pass Core, like the three tiers that Game Pass launched with, where it's Game Pass Core, Game Pass Standard, which is a terrible name to have Core and Standard. I still
Same
think
thing.
that.
It's so dumb.
But and then Game Pass Ultimate, right? Like first off, you probably launch you don't launch with Game Pass Core and Game Pass Standard. You probably launch with Game Pass Core, Game Pass, and then Game Pass Ultimate, right? And then you're now if you make that if you take that and that's how you launch Game Pass and then there's also PC Game Pass, but that's kind of its own thing. But I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Game Pass Core is like, all right, you've got this nice little catered collection of games, and you got your online play, right? It's replacing Xbox Live. Whether or not it's better or worse than what the game Xbox Live service had come to with the 2 free games you got every month. Of course, you got those to keep as long as you were subscribed to Xbox Live or whatever.
Right.
But or versus like you only ever have whatever games they are allowing you to play on the core subscription. Better games, arguably. And then you do have this middle tier, right? And the whole positioning these tiers is to upsell to Game Pass Ultimate, right? They want to
get you in
so
and
it's
then
like,
push you up, right?
yeah, right. And I've seen a lot of like, what is even the point of this Game Pass Standard tier? They shouldn't even have it. They should just remove it. Just give us Core, give us Ultimate. Well, here's the thing: you don't have the upsell then, right? Like if you start with Game Pass Core, right? Like from a business perspective, right? You give us Game Pass Core at $10 a month, or you're $75 a year now. And it's just like somebody's like looks at that and they're like, oh well, for $5 more, I can get all these games. And then you're like looking at the the Game Pass Standard, and you're like, Well, for another $5 more than that, I get EA Play, I get xCloud, I get
Yeah.
game day one games and stuff. So it's just like that. The Game Pass standard exists solely for the upsell.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's like
Makes sense.
like it or not, right? Like that's to me what it seems like. I mean, maybe you have some, but like when you pull EA Play out of that and then day one games, it's just like, why wouldn't you pay the extra $5, right? And that is what the upsell is. But so I think I like I said, when I thought about it from the perspective of if this is how Game Pass launched, this makes a whole lot more sense than Game Pass Core. $1 more, you have Game Pass Console that doesn't include Xbox Live,
Yeah.
and then Game Pass Ultimate, right? Like, but I do think, like, personally, I think it should be different. Like, I think especially the way that, like, again, they've been selling the day one Game Pass, right? Day one with Game Pass. I think you could have these tiers look a little bit different and still position the upsell, and maybe it maybe you don't get as many of the third party games. And I don't know if like that from a business standpoint, again, you're making the deals with these third parties, do they want to be on all the services? Maybe they
Right.
do, maybe they don't, right? But yeah,
So you're siding with
I
Xbox here, I think.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I
How much did Phil pay
I
you?
hate to say that I think it. I hate to say that I think it makes more sense than I initially thought it did, and
Yeah.
I could be swayed either way, right? Like I definitely think there is a very, very, very strong argument against it. The changes. Like I said, the prices. Nobody wants to see the prices. I don't like the prices. And that'll get to my next point where I still feel the same at the end of my 2 years. Am I going to pay 20? I mean, by that time, it might be $25 a month, but I think about $20 a month, and I'm like, I take this. I take my subscription off auto renew, right? Like at that price, right?
And you
That
pick
price
and
is for
choose.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get a lot of use out of it, right? And at that point, I'll get my kids will even get more use out of it. My family as a whole will get more use out of the one subscription. So we'll see here in a couple of years, but every time you do make this price increase, and that's really what all these subscription services are balancing, right? Like, when they talked about like, oh, how do you put Call of Duty in Game Pass? That doesn't make sense. Well, because nobody will buy it anymore. Wait, and so like, wait a second, like, does nobody subscribe to Game Pass? Because that's the argument you see, right? Nobody even
Right.
subscribes to Game Pass. So or do too many people subscribe to Game Pass that Call of Duty's not going to sell anymore?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, your current subscribers, you give more incentive for your current subscribers to stay subscribed. If you get more subscribers to Game Pass for Call of Duty, first off, like, you're growing your service that you're just putting at the front and center of your brand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how many of those are only going to subscribe to Call of Duty for 1 month? Nobody really plays Call of Duty for 1 month, right? Like, Call of Duty is the game.
That's an addiction,
it's a service
bro.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
yeah, right. Like, and that's where I would make an argument that all service games should be in Game Pass every tier, day one, right? Because
Yeah.
where does Call of Duty make its money? Does Call of Duty makes money on its $70 sale, right? But where does it make its real money?
It's
On Nicki
Battle Pass
Minaj,
and
right?
the Nicki Minaj.
On Nicki Minaj, on chicken wings, right? Chicken wing skins or fried chicken skins. On Snoop Dogg, right? Call of Duty makes its money on the microtransactions.
Yeah, so you need more people in. So you're saying cast a wider net, put it in every tier. I would agree with that.
Yeah, you put that in Game Pass Core. All right, you've got people that are, maybe the argument is like, well, they've got to subscribe to Game Pass Core to play the game anyway, so they give us the $70, and
yeah, maybe.
But back to it, now you pull more people into the Xbox ecosystem. Maybe then, I don't know if you're gonna pull, and maybe that's the idea, right? Like, they don't think they can pull players away from PlayStation. Nobody's gonna come from PlayStation to Xbox. So maybe that's the thought behind it. But I think I think putting service games, though, as many places you can, right? Like, the cost of entry, you're getting that recurring revenue from the subscription services and the additional revenue from the microtransactions.
Yeah, and I think you hit a point there, which I agree with. It's casting a wider net, right? You're not getting necessarily the people from PlayStation to come to Xbox. Maybe in the next generation Switch, or when you do a handheld or something like that. But it's really about casting a wider net and getting those people that are floating in between, or new gamers, different generation, The 3 tiers, while stupidly named, I think does start to make more sense to me. I do agree. I think it's all about the upsell and getting in there, but I'll let you guys in on a secret, and maybe you already know this, and the listeners too. This stuff's not for us, guys. We're already in. I know we like to
Yep.
sit. I mean, we're literally on a podcast talking about this, and we'll get online and complain about it, and other people will bitch and moan online. But it's not for us. It's you are already paying. You're already a gamer, or maybe you're not, but you're clearly decided you're not gonna join because you're complaining about it online. This is not for you. It's for all these other people that they want to capture into the market and bring into, again, the ecosystem, as Evan said, and then upsell you and eventually push you in. They just need to get you into any tier. Any tier. Try and get you in and then push you up if they can and then retain you, right? Or keep you coming back and resubbing. So it's not really for you and me and the guy, on the Discord or whatever. It's for all those other people, I think. So that's where the business decisions start to make more sense to me. The naming schemes, not so much. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all agree, pretty much unanimously, the naming schemes are pretty terrible.
Yeah, fire whoever is doing that. Xbox Series, Xbox
Just
One,
straight
X,
out the door.
Series S, Series X.
Booty needs to give him the boot, right?
Yeah, dude, terrible. So, no, that was really good, guys. Any final thoughts on this Game Pass thing?
Yeah, I think you made a really good point there, right? Like, whether or not, like I said, you've either decidedly not going to spend your money on Xbox, or you decidedly have. And honestly, even for us, even if I have unsubscribed from Xbox, I'm probably still, I'm still buying Elder Scrolls 6. I'm still giving Xbox my money, whether I'm buying their games or I'm buying their subscription. I'm still giving them their money. They're pull, right? They just put this on the Fire Stick, right? They certain Fire Sticks, right? We had somebody on our, Funk on our Discord. His 4K Fire Stick wasn't compatible, but
It's not
but
beefy enough.
they're put, they're making the message clear that the console is not required, right? Like this is somebody who doesn't even necessarily have a console, right? Game Pass is for as many people as it can possibly be for.
Yep.
And you know what? Just sync your, you have a PlayStation, you don't even need to buy the Xbox. You just have a Fire Stick. You can play with your PlayStation controller on my Xbox on the Xbox games, right? On Game Pass, right? You can get these games with your Xbox controller or your PlayStation controller. And and a streaming stick. And so that's a really good point. And honestly, like you think about it, it's just like parents out there, grandparents out there, just like, oh, I'm gonna get Johnny, like, he's off for the summer. $60, 3 months of Game Pass for $60. And he just plays all the games he wants. That sounds good. I can buy him one game, or I can buy him a summer worth of all the
300 games,
right?
yeah,
as many as he wants. Yeah, exactly.
And,
God, that would have been awesome when I was a kid. All right, keep going.
Yeah, you had the Sega channel.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Blast from the past.
Right. But yeah, so I guess those are my final thoughts.
Yeah, it's interesting. You think about really quick, just my final thoughts is streaming. There's 2 ways to make money, right? Like Netflix and those guys. You get new subs or you increase the price. Now, gaming's a little bit more unique in that they have 3 ways. You get new subs, you increase the price, and you have services, right? So Netflix, you're not paying for a battle pass or something like that. They're buying skins. I hope to God that doesn't happen.
That would be just the worst.
DLC, right?
Yeah, DLC.
Oh my God.
AI you could change the clothes on outfits, or I can put Evan into my movies getting hunted down by the scream face guy.
Right. Mark's about to get a message from their recruiting team.
Yeah. Hire that guy. So they're in the unique position where they have 3 different things, right? So again, casting the wide net. They've already got the gamers they're going to get, for the most part, probably, I'm making up a percentage, 80%, right? They probably got 80% of the gamers the core gamers they wanted to get or could get. The rest of the 20% or whatever it is, they're just not coming unless something, catastrophic happens with their platform of choice. So now they got to get these other ones with their wider net. They pull in the services. Evan, I think it's an incredible business idea that they would provide those games across all tiers, because that's where that third stream of revenue is. And then they up the price, right? Which we see they're doing, right? So it all makes sense from a business standpoint. But again, Xbox gets a lot of hate. Last place guy hated like they're the champion of the world. I don't know. It's weird. Speaking of big bucks, I wanted to bring up a quick headline that was out this week with the new NCAA Football 25 game. Looks incredible. I'm not a huge sports game guy. I played a lot of them back in the day as a kid, just playing sports in high
Yeah,
school.
same.
And NCAA football is one of the ones that was always really cool. Like you get to be, get into the program, run your dynasty of college and all that stuff, and get all the different fight songs that were in there from each school. So it was really cool and different than Madden in a way. And a headline that I saw was 2.2 million people were willing to pay $100 to play 3 days early for NCAA College Football 25. What do you guys think
So
about that?
I saw this
2.2 million
that
people.
like the headline that you sent, and I feel like this is, but I want to ask because I didn't read any article about it.
Mhm.
But now, is the $100, is this just like the special edition, or
Right.
is this like you just okay? See, that's nothing really new though, right? So I mean,
Right.
I think we
Newer,
both talked
but yeah.
about like we both paid $100 for the fancy Diablo edition so we could play a few days early.
Yep.
So okay, so that's a good clarification there, because like if somebody's like, hey, here's your $70, because now we're paying $70 for games, here's your $70 games, by the way, if you want to play 3 days early so you can play over that weekend, give an extra $100. That's way
Mhm.
different.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
Now
70, 100, and 150, by the way. Keep going.
okay, so yeah, I mean, I can't really, I mean, I've done this, right? I
Mhm.
just said I've done this for Diablos 3 times, even, because I bought it for my brother and I bought it for my wife. So,
Yeah.
um, like, I mean, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. I'm part of the problem.
I've also done it, obviously. I did the Starfield thing a little bit better because it was on Game Pass. So you didn't have to pay the full price.
It was cheap.
Yeah. And then I did the same thing for Diablo, right? The play early. Not a trend I like, but also one I participated in because I couldn't, you don't want to be that 3 days behind, man.
Yep. Yep.
You want to get
And
in there,
that's what it
play.
is.
You don't want to miss the zeitgeist, the conversation at the water cooler, whatever. You don't want to be the guy in the text group that's has no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's
Yeah.
something that I'm not gonna do with every game, right?
Yeah.
Especially like a yearly release, like a sports game where you got Madden 24, Madden 25, or NCAA 24, 25, or whatever. Never would do it for that, because the increases that they make in from year to year, technologically wise, with
Mhm.
technology wise, with those games, pretty minimal, and has been for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're missing out on a whole lot for that 3 days. But when we waited for our example, we've been using Diablo here, 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least in my mind, it's a little bit more justifiable.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not something that I'm going to do with every single game release that comes out, especially like a yearly anthology. Even if it was Call of Duty, right? Not going to do it.
Yeah. This is the big
A note
return
on this.
for college football, by the way.
This is the first college football game in a decade.
Yeah. So similar
So
situation.
so
Did
They
they
haven't-
did
they
they
haven't
stop making NCAA?
Mm-hmm.
yes, yeah. 2014 was the last one.
Oh, okay. I
Yep.
did not realize
That's why
that.
this is such a
So,
big deal,
yeah.
and they've implemented a
Okay.
lot of new. Like there actually is a big overhaul, right? So
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
So
a
then
lot
it
of
makes
like
a little bit more sense. Yeah.
thoughts that this might like they'll put experimental stuff into this before they implement it into Madden and stuff like that. But it's like there was a lot of it sounds like there's a lot even from the developers and everything, a lot of passion and like actual heart put into this game as opposed to Madden. Right, the machine that is Madden, that is NBA 2K, that is FIFA or FC. So yeah, so that was another thing that was on there, right? Like this is for a lot of people, it is kind of like paying that extra $30 to play Starfield or Diablo or whatever early, because it's like, man, they really missed college football, right? And this is the first college football game that has out of the box players' names on the jerseys, right, and everything like that
Yeah.
too. So
it looks so
with
cool,
the
dude.
new, yeah, it does. It looks good, and it's like I mean, I'll look. It'll hit EA Play like in a year or what, at some point in the next like 9 months or whatever.
Yeah.
I would imagine. So I look forward to jumping into it. But yeah, I had a buddy at work that just like he took time, like he's been planning this, like this has been on his calendar in the same way that Fallout 4, that Starfield, that Tears of the Kingdom was for me, right?
Right.
And man, and it's like I do have as a kid like lots of great memories of playing college football, and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and that's I would say it was always I always preferred the college football over the Madden games. Something I think running the option is just something that I enjoyed more. But yeah,
You love this tread?
I mean, no, I don't love this trend, but like honestly, I guess I prefer this to just games coming out at $80, at $85, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like we're already seeing price increases on games. If we don't see these $100 tiers, 2.2 million people paying this $100 tier, that means that $70 game is now an $80 game, right?
Yeah, it gets
so that
spread out
then they get
differently,
10
right?
million sales at $80 games, right?
Yeah.
So it could be worse, I suppose.
I hate
You
that.
you
I hate
can
that
not
mentality,
participate.
but yeah, but I agree with you, but I just hate that mentality, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, and like we said, like you are paying for the deluxe edition, right? You're not just paying for 3 days. You're not paying for 3 days early access. It's not 30 days. I mean, that is probably the push over the edge, right? It's like, sweet, I'll pay this extra $30. I get to pay 3 days early, but also I get all these other goodies. I think if you don't include goodies, with that, whatever it is, whether it's like Starfield getting the DLC or whatever, you don't provide some kind of incentive other than the early access, you get way more blasted. Like you already, they're already getting blasted for this stuff when it comes out. But if that's all you include in that $30 extra, then I think that you got a Battlefield 2, right? Type of situation on your hand.
Like a
But
2042.
ultimately, I think no, Battlefront
Oh,
2.
okay.
Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay.
Battlefront
Yeah,
2,
I
where
understand,
it was just like that actually caused change in EA. But I think oh crap, I had another thought about it. But
yeah, it's weird. Man, when you see that when that headline comes out, I think that just encourages other. It's going to spread, right? It's going to encourage other developers and publishers to do that. It's again
It's going to
another.
become a norm for sure.
Yeah, it's
and
another avenue
I think that
for
headline is
money.
just clickbait.
Yeah, that's why I asked, right? Because
Yeah.
I could see, especially sports fans, right? Like sports fans are like a
Fanatics. They're a different
another
breed.
level,
Yeah.
dude. Like $100, cool, done. Okay, I'll play 300 like 3 days early if that costs me an extra $100. Especially, and I was unaware that they hadn't made like a NCAA for a decade, right? So
Yep.
especially even that more, I would not put that past folks. Be like, oh, yep, cool, done. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's so funny seeing like which you guys probably haven't talked a whole lot about it, like locals and where you are, but like outside of the US, like there seems to be like so much confusion as to like why do you guys what is so exciting about this amateur sport, like what like because like it's the college sports aren't really a thing outside of US, right? Like
Right.
it's all about the professional leagues, right? And really you start your professional leagues at 17 years old or whatever. You can think of like Luka Doncic or whatever. He was playing professional basketball in Europe from like 16 years old. And so it's just like it's just a different thing over there. Like there's just such a like there's just no they just don't get it, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
like
there's
interesting. You see
no
the comments on Reddit.
comparison.
It's just like why? Yeah. Is college football really that big of a deal? And it's just like
huge deal, right?
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely want to play this game. I don't think I'll buy it. If I had extra money laying around, I would, for sure. But the stuff I saw in the trailer, I was like, wow, like they actually put a lot of thought into this. This is stuff that's not even in Madden. Like, not a huge enough Madden fan to play, but also hate you guys talked about it, whether it's like anthology type where it's like they don't even iterate on anything. It's like a roster update every year, maybe one feature.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is total bull crap. And so I'm out on that. Now, if they did that with this football game, I'm gonna clown on them as well. But hopefully they don't. The big decade off obviously paid off in a way. So yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
And
they were
good.
I was just say they were putting out blog posts like weekly or bi-weekly or something on like just like the updates and stuff. Like I mean, it was there. This was like it felt like a true passion project from the devs.
Yeah, and there's so many good like Instagram reels and social media posts on this now. I watched a guy, he's like in full football pads playing the game, and you can play like as yourself. Like you get recruited into college, like you may kind of suck, and you got to earn your time. And then there's like a coach trust meter like in you. He's like, oh, put me in, coach, put me in. He finally gets in for a play. He runs the play. He's like, give me the ball. And he like gets tackled behind the line for a 3-yard loss. They run a play again. Option gets pitched to him, and he's like, yeah, baby. And then he tries to like juke a dude, gets tackled behind the line, pulled out of the game, -30 trust. Like, Dude,
That's
hilarious.
incredible.
Yeah. So cool. It's just so funny.
I'll have to check this out. Yeah, wouldn't buy it. Not my genre by any means, but I would
Mhm.
definitely when it hits
EA
EA
play.
Play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out on Game Pass for sure.
Question: is this the most immersive strategy RPG of 2025 or 2024?
Maybe.
I mean, we haven't played it, so we can't say.
Yeah, right.
Can't say. Speaking of immersive things, maybe immersive. Can we talk about Emio, the Nintendo mystery title that's no longer a mystery? So Nintendo put up this trailer, maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, if that, and it was like straight on spooky horror, Emio. And that was it. They dropped like a little clip, and it was like, holy crap! Like, what is this game? Looks like
Yeah,
mature
very
rated.
cryptic.
Yeah, and it's got Nintendo stamped on it. And then there was like a ratings board post that came out, like it got rated in some country, Australia or something. And it was like for like gore and suicide and other things. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? What
That
kind of
is
game are they
not how
doing?
Nintendo does. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Right.
then they did what, Evan? We found out what about this game?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, it just like it looked like like they were just teasing the psychological horror game, right? You're like,
Mm-hmm.
what is happening? What is with Nintendo? And I was just like, it just piques interest just to like this is not my Mario slash
Right.
Zelda maker, right? And so then what, a few days later, I don't even know if it's a full week later, we get another update that the original creator of very popular series and long running series Famicom Detective Club. You've played probably every entry of that over the last 30 years, right, Curtis?
Right.
Dude, I have it
Is there-
tattooed. I'm a diehard
yeah,
fan.
right. So there hasn't been an entry in over 30 years. um, it was like the early 90s, late 80s that the last there's two Famicom Detective Club games that have come
I
out. They
think
did remake those
89,
two.
88 and 89, I
They
think.
88 and 89, right? So they did remake them for the Switch, right? And people say they're pretty good. They're visual novels. But they are they're what, detective type, it's
Mm-hmm.
a detective club, right? Famicom Detective Club, whatever. So but they're these visual novel games or whatever. And so it seems like the creator, they had original creators just like, hey, I had this new idea, and he came on to this, right? He was in this clip after we saw this very cryptic trailer that just didn't give us any information other than this creepy guy. And but he came on, he's like, yeah, I had an idea, for we had an idea for a new game and we just wanted to do it. And it's like, oh well, that split the fan base on what was coming here, because like there was a lot of people that were just like getting all hyped for this like psychological thriller slash horror game.
Yeah, like Evil
um
Inside or Resident, whatever. That's what they were
right.
thinking. Yeah, I was too. I was like, whoa.
And it turns out it's gonna be like, so there's definitely there's very mature themes and stuff, that this is like a psychological serial killer, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, so there is that, but it's like it's not this immersive horror game, right? You're not
Right.
playing Silent Hill and or what's a gosh, what was that? Outlast was the game that
Outlast. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
also
I
on
yeah.
Game
tried
Pass, right?
10 minutes. I'm not sure. I played that years ago for like 10 minutes and it noped out of that real quick. But um but yeah, it was like, it was just felt like, oh my gosh, Nintendo is doing something they have never done before, and it's like, oh, it's just something they haven't done in 35 years. But yeah.
Yeah. It's a
So
little
that
bit of a
was
left turn, not what
I'm
people
curious.
thought it was going to be.
I'm still interested. I mean, Curtis, it sounds like this is all new to you anyway. Mark, I know you were at least aware of it. Did
What gave you that
this
idea?
pique your interest? Yeah, you're usually our Nintendo guy here, so I was a little surprised. But um, no, but Mark, I'm curious what your thoughts were when you saw that initial trailer, and then what your thoughts were when it came out, what it really was. Like, did it change how you felt about it? I mean, for me, I would say it changed how I felt about it, but I think I'm still curious. It actually brought me a little interest, gave me a little interest in the first two games that have never gone on sale, by the way. You can get them for $60 bundled or $35 a piece. And
Dang.
which seems like a high price for
A
what you're
visual
getting
novel.
for
Yeah.
30-year-old remakes. Yeah.
Okay, so when I first saw the trailer, I was like, whoa. I think I was taken aback too, right? And I was also like cautiously optimistic. I'm like, okay. I mean, they've done like Grand Theft Auto and stuff on the platform. Maybe they're gonna go with something else, but there's no way that they're doing this, right? Maybe another dev or like they're contracting it out, whatever. And then like days go by and the internet kind of was like somewhat ablaze about this, like trying to figure out, what's going on. And then they dropped the follow on that like, hey, it's Famicom Detective Club. Lost interest, man. Not a visual novel guy, and not because I'm not willing to try or that I hate them. If somebody in the Discord or comments recommended a visual novel that's pretty good, I would try it. And maybe I would like them, but at this point, I was like, no. I'd be more interested if it was like a Silent Hill or Resident Evil or something. Like those are up my alley. I like those games, so that's where I was like, nope, done.
So when you say like visual novel, are you talking about like the Telltale games, like the Walking Dead ones and stuff, or?
I couldn't even tell you like the total gameplay of what this would be. Evan might be able to tell you more, but I'm trying to pull up like the top visual novels, and some of them are very adult themed. A lot of them. One of the most popular ones I think is Doki Doki Literature Club. Everybody says to play it blind, so that one is on my wish list to maybe go in and give it a try.
Okay, so these are more of like a Japanese kind of thing then. Is that
Yes, yeah,
okay? Gotcha.
yep. Um, I'm probably gonna get butchered by the people that listen to this, but it reminds me more of like almost like those dating sim type games where you have to like interact and talk to people and you play through a story. Like in the early 2000s or whatever. I don't know if you ever played like one of those online. I mean, that was kind of a thing when we were younger. It reminds me of that.
Yeah.
And that's probably why there's like a lot of adult themed or hentai ones or whatever.
Okay,
On
okay,
there,
I
so.
gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, I had to step away for a
That
second. I
makes
could hear
sense.
what you guys were saying. Yeah, so like Walking Dead series is like a more of a walking sim, right? Walking Dead, Life is Strange, Firewatch, those are walking sims, and those are generally like
My
my
favorite way to
speed.
walk.
Those are more my speed for narrative experiences, right? Visual novels, like you were saying, like this Japanese thing. When you picture those games where it's like a little dialogue box and then like just like the picture of a character kind of pops up at the bottom corner of the screen, and then their dialogue happens, and then you just kind of have that user engagement or that player engagement with the dialogue, and then it's like a static background, um, as opposed to like you're not really exploring the world as much from what I understand. You're not even necessarily like and maybe some walking with the character and exploring with the character.
So, are we talking more like the like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney kind of thing?
That's what that would remind me of a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
gotcha.
my vibe. And maybe somebody in the
All
Discord
right.
can correct this because I don't think any of us are experts exactly on what this is.
I know exactly the person that will tell us what this is in the Discord, so we'll see what she comes up with.
Definitely funk, right?
Yeah,
Funk.
yeah. I won't call anybody out, but I know who will, and I'm hoping she does give us some recommendations because I'll try one. I looked up best visual novels. Doki Doki Literature Club is 26 on this list. I don't know if this is a good one or not. But that one's like highly regarded to play blind, and it's got like a horror element to it. Number 1, The House in Fata Morgana. I've actually heard about this. This was on a 3DS, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it came out in 2016. Vita, 3DS, Switch.
I think there's some what Death Note games, right? Death Note is
Oh,
part of visual novels, if
you
I'm
know
not
the other
mistaken.
one? Have you guys seen the ads for Slay the Princess? It's like a black and white thing. Look up Slay the Princess. It's only on Steam, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I've heard of this one.
I'm trying to see if there's any others that you would know. Steins Gate.
Steins Gate, that's the
Yep.
one, not Death Note. Steins Gate's the one I was thinking of.
Yep.
I knew there was something with an anime, right?
So yeah, and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy is number 13 on the list. So yes, if that's you were asking that, Curtis.
Okay, cool. Now I'm tracking.
Now are
I'm
you
not
interested?
gonna play them, but
Okay,
now
no,
no.
so now you're not. Okay.
No.
I thought you were like, oh baby, I'm in.
No, Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney when that came out, and I went and I bought it for my DS, I think it was. And like I was so excited for that game, and I don't even think I finished the first case, and I was like, this is just not for me.
Yeah.
I'm good. So
That trilogy's on Game Pass, and I actually have it installed on my Xbox right now.
I've had it installed for months and months and months, and I'm just like, oh yeah, no.
The
Right,
House of
right.
Fata Morgana. I'm gonna add this to the wish list. Let's see.
Probably
House of
already on mine.
your million games.
I've added more since last episode.
25 bucks.
After you called it, you just started refilling it.
Yep.
It's terrible. I just added it. A gothic suspense tale set in a cursed mansion. The House in Fata Morgana is a full-length visual novel spanning nearly a millennium that deals in tragedy, human nature, and insanity. Very positive reviews. I don't think there's any visual novels on Game Pass. Well, I guess you did say Phoenix Wright is on there?
Yeah, Phoenix Wright is on there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, a couple other things that I wanted to just see if you guys saw these. I know I sent some links out, but get your temperature on these. Splitgate 2 had an announcement trailer.
I watched this trailer. It reminded me. This was if you guys remember back in the day, Xbox Arcade.
Mhm.
There was a game on there called Monday Night Combat.
Yes.
And this within 30 seconds, actually not even maybe within 10 seconds, I was like, this reminds me of like a modernized HD version of Monday Night Combat. Obviously, this has Splitgate 2, so I'm assuming there's a Splitgate 1 that I've never heard of or played. But I'm interested. Like the arena kind of sports combat thing is a genre that isn't hugely leaned on, and I dig it. I love. Me and Cole played Monday Night Combat for months and months and months, just so many hours in that game. So I'm curious to see how this checks out. And all of the trailer was all cinematic, right? Which I hate. Show me a little bit of give me 10 seconds of gameplay so I can see if you're hiding poor graphics into a really good looking trailer or not. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out.
So Mark and I have played the first one, and so it's like, so Curtis, I don't know if you've heard of Halo or Portal, but but it's
Is that a
basically,
Nintendo thing?
yeah, that's probably why you haven't heard it. So yeah, it's basically like Halo with portals, and honestly, like that's kind of what it's like. It was pitched as. I don't know if the devs said exactly that, but like that's like always been, and that's what it feels like playing it. And they try to do it like, the reason that we're getting Splitgate 2 is because like sounds like they wanted to do it like your classic release a multiplayer shooter and then make another one, right? As opposed to like continued live service. Now, whether or
Okay.
not they do, whether they keep that kind of mentality with Splitgate 2 or not is to be seen. Because I would imagine like now to come out with a successful shooter, you almost just have to do the service game, right? But yeah, it was, we had a blast. I had a blast with this. I played it a little bit, right? Like with Mark and his brothers-in-law, however you say that. And we played with a few people, and dude, it was just so fun. Like, you throw a couple portals around, and you're just like sitting in this corner, and you throw up a portal in a sniper spot, right? So you're camping somewhere in this little corner of the map, but you've got your portal poking out on like the top of the map somewhere where you're poking out. You poke in, you snipe somebody, you fall back out. And I don't know, dude, just such a cool idea, such a cool concept, and it was pretty well implemented. And I think they just had a lot more ideas, and it just immediately started, like they put this game out, and it just immediately started development, because it caught on like fire, right? Like people loved it, and they're like, all right, well, let's start making the second game so we can, we have all these other ideas we have
It is
improve.
free, by the way. Like, it's on Steam.
Yeah,
You can just
that's
download
what I
and
was
play
just
it.
gonna say. I was like, it says free to play. So did you guys? Was it not initially?
No, it was.
So how are they making their dollars?
I
they
think
selling?
they sell skins.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think the big complaint was that the first one was that the skins started to not fit the art style of the game. Like most of them.
Kim, they had a little Kim, and you play as Barney.
Barney.
And
So
Yep.
supposedly
Checks
the
out.
second one's looking more like they'll keep a certain art style, hopefully. But
Okay.
yeah, it's totally super cool concept. Remind me more personally, like like Halo a little bit, but more like Quake Arena, Unreal
Unreal.
Tournament. Yep, exactly. And this one's gonna be 4v4, arena style combat with the portals, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with the portals, right? Like you said, so allows you to duck in and out of stuff really quick, do cool sniper stuff. There's never really any true moments where it's like, oh man, this guy's camping across the map. Like you can see the portal, right? Yeah, you might get cracked once.
Yeah.
But you're gonna learn pretty quick, like, oh, I see a portal's there, right? You know what I mean? It's not where they're hiding in the shadows and their barrel of their guns sticking out. You see the portals, so
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in checking this one out. Sounds interesting.
this is actually something your relative might play. The one that's into Apex could be interested in this, maybe.
My brother.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
So
All right, Nick, you heard it here first, man. Get rid of that Apex garbage.
Yeah, if you
Yeah, you
man,
put 'em
Apex
in
is in
gold.
hot water. They're getting review bombed bad right now.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. I think for battle pass changes or something like that, or content changes. I'm gonna pull up the Apex. Overwhelmingly negative in recent reviews with 55,000.
Yikes.
Dude, how par for the course is this kind of thing happening? It's like, all right, we need to review bomb this game on Steam, so they change things. So this happened. What was the game? There's a game that just came out a couple weeks ago. This happened for too, and then it like came right back up after they made the changes. But
Yeah, I'm in two
oh,
minds.
it was the expansion for Erdtree, Shadow of Erdtree or whatever for Elden Ring.
yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, people complaining it was too hard.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, it's insanely hard. The guy I work with was like, I played this final boss for 8 hours straight and I just gave up. I can't do it anymore.
Dude. Yeah.
Nope.
I
Hard
was like
pass.
interested in Elden Ring, and then like I hear stuff like that, and I'm just like, am I interested in Elden Ring? But
You are, man.
I don't
That's
know.
part of the game, man. It's like
I know.
overcoming those. And that, at least not the DLC. The DLC is like, you have to pretty much get super far in the game to even get into this. Like, you got to be pretty committed, right? But Elden Ring is so much more forgiving than all of the other Souls-like games. Like, yeah, there's still some really difficult bosses, but in general, some of the game that people don't understand when they play is that the game is trying to teach you that it's okay to not fight some people. Like, they do that right at the start of Elden Ring. It's this big bad boss, seemingly like kind of
The
in
big
your
golden
way.
knight guy.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, I got to beat this. I even fell in this trap for like maybe 5-6 tries. I'm like, well, what if I just run away? And that's exactly what they want you to do, right? They want you to come to that epiphany, like a couple tries in, like, oh, I don't have to fight everybody. Yes, this game is a Souls game. Yes, there's going to be some hard fights that you do have to do, but there's other options. And it's a lot more forgiving in the fact that, I can't remember what they're called, but they basically have like the respawning things a lot closer to where the bosses are and around the map and the fast travel and stuff. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Campfires.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. All right.
Erdtree,
It
not so
sounds
much.
like yeah. Let's say it sounds like like I think of like the what are the centaurs or whatever in the Zelda game, the Breath of the Wild, and
Oh,
I just forgot
hate
the
those
name of those.
guys. Lionel's.
Yeah, like Lionel's and the big dragons and Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like
Mhm.
it's like you see them, but you don't just have to take them on. Maybe that's kind of what I think of, because they're right. Elden Ring got a lot of inspiration from Breath of the Wild.
It
If I'm
did,
not
yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
What is that game?
Yeah. So there's this little guy that wears a green tunic. Except for these two games that I'm talking about, he wears a blue one for some reason. But his name's Link, or Zelda, as most people know him by.
His
This is
name
another indie game.
his name is
Yeah.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Made by one guy. His name's Shigeru Miyamoto. That's the only guy that makes Zelda.
That checks out. Right up your alley.
Yep. It's
So
a side-scrolling platformer.
another another one, No Man's Sky. Big update to No Man's Sky. You guys No Man's Sky fans or no?
I've gone into No
Nomad.
Man's Sky.
No, man.
I've gone into No Man's Sky multiple times.
And bounce
And
off.
I just it never sticks. So, like, I go in, I play it. They're just, I mean, like, I know they've put in just so much extra content from when that released. I remember when we were still working at our old job when that game released, and like we leave on Monday, guys, it's coming out tonight. We come in on Tuesday, like, well, this is trash.
Yeah.
And like I know over the last decade, how much they've improved it, right? But every time I go in, when I see like oh yeah, Hello Games, I think that's their name, right?
I think so.
Put in, this huge new update, all this extra stuff. I'm like, cool. I haven't played the last like 7 updates, so there should be a ton of new stuff. But then you get in there, and I'm just like, still sort of feels exactly the same, even just with more stuff, though.
I think it's the gameplay loop, man. I just I've tried multiple times. I come in after maybe three updates off, then I'll reinstall and come back in, and I just don't like it. I just can't.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was playing with
I
my
agree.
kids, like they're a little older, and I was playing with them, or I was playing with you guys, maybe we could have some fun with it or something. But I don't find the gameplay loop interesting as much as I love that they're committed to the game and improving it. And we talked about this pre-show. It seems that they're working on Light No Fire, which I'm also interested in. I hope is better than this. They're backporting some of the work into this, which I think is cool. I don't think you see a lot of developers do
for
that.
Sure.
A lot of developers going to say, "Nah, we're going to keep this in the new thing. You're going to come play the new Call of Duty or whatever." They're not taking features from this and putting it back into the old game. That's cool. That's a good dev
Yeah,
move,
it's definitely
right?
a new thing for sure.
Yeah, so they added like all these water features, and the water looks incredible, and different things on the planets. So, yeah, Evan,
good looking water.
No Man's Sky, you're no man at all. Never played it.
I've never played, but you guys are based on what you guys are saying. It sounds like I need to try it out.
It might be your kind of game.
I'm kind of curious.
I could see that.
It's on Game Pass, so here we are.
Which is actually why I
saying
went back to it. The most recent time I did was specifically
Same.
because it was on Game Pass.
Yep.
Yeah, I was to say, here we are asking if Game Pass is worth it, and we just keep talking about Game Pass, but games that aren't Game Pass. But yeah, so I've thought about jumping into it, but yeah, I've always had the fear of like basically what you guys are saying, like, because it's like I don't want to say like there's like something about like say Minecraft or Astroneer or like these games that there's like just a big world to kind of go explore and mine resources and just kind of do your thing or whatever that like is just very unappealing to me, right? Like even in like Fallout 4 and Starfield, there's like base building and settlement building and stuff like where you go out and collect resources and do the thing, and I'm just not interested, right? And I usually even like survival games. There's some that I've played and I've enjoyed a little bit, but it's just like I generally fall off of them relatively quickly because it's like I'm just interested in exploring, and I like the idea of like having this little camp or whatever that you're building up and developing over time. But when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, I just don't have that interest. And I could be wrong about No Man's Sky, right? Like it could be something different. They could have the loop could be something for me. It gets a lot of critical acclaim, especially lately, right? Like you said, it launched in a disastrous state, but I think of 3 games that have had just insane like ongoing support with free updates, and it's Terraria that we were talking about earlier, No Man's Sky, and then Stardew Valley, right?
Yeah.
But which the other 2 launched in a more favorable state and continue to just be favorable. But yeah, these are. I don't know. I might play it someday, and I could see if my kid wants to play it or something like that. I could see him being interested in us jumping in. But
yeah, I'd have to agree with you. It takes the right thing. Maybe if I was in high school again or something, had all this time, I would mind just like going through a weekend and doing that. The last thing I wanted to do, if you guys didn't have anything else, was just to talk about some upcoming games and see what catches your interest and put it on our radar for the upcoming podcast episodes. So
hit us.
Okay, let's see. August. I'm trying to think of stuff that'll jump out. Black Myth Wukong. Yep. Okay.
Check it out.
Concord. This is that
oh man,
controversial.
So it's had open beta. Yeah, the hero shooter on PlayStation. That's $40 and not free to play, like the Marvel's hero shooter and Overwatch 2 are.
Wait,
that
it's $40?
It's $40.
Mm.
So it looks like Guardians of Galaxy at home kind of thing, right? It turned into a hero shooter.
Wish.com. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and Yeah, so it's and people are just like playing it. It's like, oh, there's some solid things here. There's complaints that it's not fast enough for a hero shooter.
Mm-hmm.
That it just plays really slow, and then like that overall, like the gunplay solid. This is solid. This is solid. But like, there's nothing here that is. Why would I leave Overwatch to play this, or why would I not play,
Marvel
the
Rivals or
actual
anything.
Marvel?
Yeah.
Right. Something where it's like I can actually play Guardians of the Galaxy characters. I don't know if they actually have it's like Star Lord in it or not, but
Yeah.
yeah, as opposed to so it's like PlayStation looking for another hit here on a $40 multiplayer service game, like they had with Helldivers earlier this year, but I don't think they're gonna get it with this one.
Nope.
Yeah, this is
Doesn't look
definitely
like
one
it.
of those ones I feel like from the mandate to make everything live service got turned into this, and
Yeah, I think we should maybe look into Fair Games, which will be the Payday clone. Maybe that'll be better than Payday 3.
yeah.
We'll play it more than 3 times.
Visions of Mana.
Oh yeah, that sounds interesting. I was hoping that would have been on Game Pass. It felt like it was like Xbox has the branding for it, and it just felt good for a Game Pass game. Like they go out and kind of grab some of these. But I think Visions is a long-standing. Obviously it's a
The
long-standing
Mana
IP where
series,
it's
yeah.
yeah. Xbox is good at going out and getting like new IP in the Japanese space, right?
Mhm.
Or titles like Metaphor from Atlas, or
Yeah.
Kunitagami, right? Path of the Goddess from Capcom, like so, or even Octopath 1 they brought to Game Pass, and now Octopath 2 is there.
Is this Visions
Um,
not going to be on Game Pass, or it is?
it's not
It's
on Game
not.
Pass.
Yeah, gotcha. Curtis Visions Mana.
So I just pulled it up. I was looking at the screenshots and the quick video. I was like, oh man, this is super, like really pretty, like Final Fantasy pretty. And I look over and it was Square Enix.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it checks out. Okay.
Yeah, you probably
But no,
remember some of these from back in the day, though, too, right? Or no? Any of the Mana games?
Trials
no,
of
I don't think I've ever
Mana,
played.
right? Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
But
Secret of
no,
Mana. It was Secret of Mana, the first one.
Hey, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll probably be skipping on this one.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws, end of August.
Yep, I'm in.
I'm in. Yep.
I think it looks cool. I'm gonna keep my eye on it.
Yeah,
You guys
I'm
can tell
happy
me
to
nowadays.
see a different style of game. I enjoy
Yeah, exactly.
the previous two's EA Jedi games. I like them a lot. I both played through both of them fully. But it's cool to see like a bounty hunter, smuggler, yada yada. Something different than the usual. Let's swing our lightsabers around. As much as I love that, Astrobot,
Yeah, exactly.
September.
If I had a
Are you just
PlayStation,
making
this
names
almost
up?
pushed me over the edge for a PlayStation. Like I'm like,
This
I
is
just don't
like
have it.
think 3D Mario, but PlayStation.
And like it's just like paying homage to
Oh, okay.
all
I've
of the
seen the trailer for
PlayStation
this. Yeah,
IP.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the PS5
yeah.
comes with a free bundle-in game that's like a tech demo of this, and it's actually super awesome and a lot of fun. And now they
Yeah,
made a
they have
full
like all
game
the
out of it.
characters and stuff like from their
Yeah,
other games that are like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've seen this one.
this has been in the headlines because like every week or couple weeks they're
Yeah.
like doing events or puzzles like meta type real world games to unlock these characters.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, you got like a Bloodborne guy in there. You like just all kinds of like PlayStation characters and stuff throughout the whole
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes me want to
And
get it.
but yeah, and there's like in the trailer, there's like some things I'm like, this looks straight out of Mario Odyssey, but or like some of the other like other platformers and stuff that you've seen and stuff, which is honestly in a great way though. Like I'm like, man, I would probably be all about spending $60 or $70 to play this game, but I just don't think I can pay $560 or $570 to play this game.
Oh yeah, to get the PS5.
Yeah, to get the
Yeah.
console.
40K Space Marine 2, same week.
That sounds lame.
Are you out on it for real or no?
No. I'm definitely gonna get it. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm highly interested in this this one.
Is that on Game Pass?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not. Are you sure?
Yeah, almost
I thought it
100%
was.
positive.
I thought I
say,
remember
hold
one
on.
of their things popping up and it had shown up on Game Pass.
No way.
Maybe not day one then.
Oh
Either
wait,
way,
you
I'm,
might be right.
if
you
not, then I'll
might
still
be
buy it.
right.
But I could have sworn
He
I
says,
saw the
no
Game Pass
way.
tag on it.
Wait. He says, no way. Wait. Maybe.
I'm looking.
I say a lot of these
No,
40K games. Okay. I say a lot of these 40K games hit Game Pass.
I can't. I can't find an answer. I can't find an answer. Answered. Let's see.
Such good branding, Xbox.
No, I don't know. We'll return to this. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Dead Rising fans back in the day? No.
Meh. Never
Yeah.
been a big
Yeah,
fan of
that's
zombie
not a,
games in general.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not big on zombie games or time mechanics, so
Yeah. Okay, so this is one of the other ones I wrote down, but it's up on the release calendar for October. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. They just had the Spiritborn character reveal. What do you guys think? Looks cool, doesn't look cool. We'll play it, won't play it.
I mean, it's a Blizzard trailer, so of course it looks cool, right? But probably won't buy it. I almost surely won't buy it because I haven't even played Diablo since they added it onto Game Pass. Even though I already own it, like I haven't
Yeah.
played it even once they added it onto Game Pass, and I could play it on my Xbox, right? Just once I beat the story, I just wasn't thrilled with their end game stuff. And I know they've added stuff to make that better, but it's just kind of like too little, too late kind of deal. I really want to go back and then relearn the new stuff that you've just added to make it better. That probably should have been there to begin with.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I would recommend trying it out, but I can totally see your side of that there. Silent Hill 2, October 8th. No Silent Hill fans?
I don't do the scary.
I'm interested.
yeah, no Silent Hill for me. No Silent Hill for me.
Um,
Mark, you missed one. August 8th, SteamWorld Heist 2. You know, we were talking about all this.
oh,
SteamWorld.
it might not be on the list.
Oh
here.
my god, that should have been the number one option, dog.
All right,
Right?
it was
Right?
not on my list. Sorry, I'm looking at an IGN list, so blame them.
Just
on
the
GameSpot.
host. Oh my god, just the host. Like I said,
Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, October 11th.
is that the one you were talking about where it's got like 600
500
characters right off the rip?
Yes, dude.
Yeah. Okay. The fight. It's like the fighting game, right?
Yeah, and it looks incredible.
Yeah. I'll pass, but love me some DBZ, so go to town.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Any Quidditch fans?
Yeah, there is a Quidditch game in September.
Yeah.
Your wife. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Prison Architect 2. Didn't you guys play Prison
No.
Architect?
I played a lot of Prison Architect.
Big no on that.
I played that a lot. I actually, when that game came, not when it came out, but my uncle has spent some time in the joint, and he was out of the joint at this time, and I'm playing this game, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm running this prison," and then I turned around, and I was like, "Wait, can you give me some tips on? Because I got these guys that keep breaking out of here. Can you?" He's like, "Yeah, that's not really the kind of stuff that I would hope that you would ask me, but yeah, okay, sure."
So Prison Architect 2, not the original developers. Paradox Software Publishing, notorious for punching things out into DLC. Paradox, if you guys aren't aware.
Okay.
And they
is that the Stellaris game maker?
Yes. Also, I'll tell you what else they do. But as I'm looking that up, also transition to 3D gameplay, and it does not look good.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's a very interesting choice.
Yeah, it'd be like if Factorio 2 came out and it was
City Skylines, Stellaris, Europa, Crusaders Kings, all those ones that have like these 1 million DLC packs. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's looking to be bad.
Age of Mythology Retold.
100%. 100% playing that, and you guys better invite me this time, you jerks.
I never played the original. I was Age of Empires 2.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I can tell, it's the same thing, just with gods and stuff. So I'll give it a check.
Game Pass, baby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Star Trekker. I think we talked about this, right? Star Trekker.
Yeah, I believe we did. I'm interested in checking it out.
Stalker 2. I'm looking forward to Stalker 2. I want to dive into this, dude. People
Oh,
talk about
I do want to
Stalker.
try that. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, like, Stalker was just had a whole lot of jank into it, but like super immersive, and like it's just like it does kind of make me think a little bit of like Fallout Skyrim type of like gameplay, and I'm interested in jumping into Stalker 2 for sure.
I see what happened here. They split it out between different consoles. So that's why I missed some of them. Yeah, Stalker 2, you said the
Oh,
there...
Funko Fusion. I know we're all pumped about Funko Fusion.
No.
Dude, I got that pre-order $100 3-day early access version.
Dude, it looks so bad. Oh man.
Black Ops
Funko
6. Black Ops 6. Anybody playing?
Game Pass.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. The problem is though, I don't know if I can afford the storage.
That is a good
That's
point.
a very real. I actually bought the external. I think I just got the 1 terabyte little plug-in for
Yeah.
the back
Oh, you
because
did?
of Modern Warfare 3 actually. And then like
Yeah.
I just got tired of like, oh cool, I want to play something besides Call of Duty. Well, let me go and install something so that I can download that one.
Kurt's got a memory card, an expansion, storage expansion. It's that just says Call of Duty on it.
It's a good half of it is probably dedicated to
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, because when I was like, all right, Game Pass, yeah, of course I'll play it. And then I was like, obviously it's not 300 gigs to download just Black Ops 6, but like it's gonna be hundreds of gigs, and I don't know that I have the space.
That is one of the biggest complaints that I have for the game for sure.
I gotta sit there and stare at 140 gigs of Baldur's Gate 3 that I'm not playing, you know. But
this guy. Last game.
I think that was his third strike, dude. Let's kick him out.
Yeah, he's done. We'll put up the ad for new host. Last game I'll mention, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. September, end of September. 100%. This looks awesome, and I think Curtis, you even said this one actually looked kind of interesting because of the mechanic.
Yeah.
There was one we talked about a couple weeks ago where you're playing as the girl.
Yeah, and you get to
the girl,
copy the monsters.
Her name is Link.
Oh yeah, it was like Pokemon infused. Okay, I remember.
In a way,
now.
Yeah. So not only could you copy the monsters you defeated, but you could
monsters.
do like objects and stuff too, and then you
solve
all the puzzles
like tables and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Platforming objects, right?
Is it on Game Pass?
I wish.
Of course.
Let me ask you this: would Nintendo ever come out with a subscription for their games?
Yes, I would absolutely subscribe.
That was
not the question.
$100 a month, worth it.
Oh my god, I would not. So even if they did, I would not because they have so few titles that I would even be interested in. It just would not be something that would speak to me. But it's a good. I don't think they would because it would be so cost prohibitive. Because like you said, it'd be $100 a month when you consider every single game that they have, goes on sales. Like, guys, great sales, $4 off.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though: does it need to be $100 a month if they have 100 million subscribers, like Game Pass was striving to be, right? Like if they have 3 times as many people subscribing as Game Pass, now that's where the money's coming in, and but maybe they do. I mean, they do have their own subscription service, right? You just get it on day 30,000. As opposed to day 1.
Wow.
With all the retro consoles.
30,000.
20-year-old games.
They would lose all the Mario
games.
Kart sales, man, if they did that.
I mean, are you losing sales? First off, you're still selling the game, and second off, you're making $25 a month for the service, right? If Mario Kart comes out and it's $70, and then you make that in 3 months from that person subscribing, do you really care? And Mario Kart's a big seller, and maybe that wouldn't be like Mario
it's not
Kart
a good example because of economies of scale, I think. But I agree with your point, but maybe not with Mario Kart at 62 million units.
Well, so that's almost one that would be like, oh, can you do that? Because it sells 62 million units. Now, if you just sell it to people that are subscribing or whatever, like your unit sales are only 20 million, right? But I think Nintendo shareholders are super traditional, and like they would not they want to see those units sold. I think that it's like Nintendo comes out and they have how many 20 million unit sellers, right? Like they just pump one out every that more than one out a year. I think it's like they have so many, and it's just like PlayStation and Xbox was just like, I just love 120 million unit seller, 2 million, in a console generation. It's just like Nintendo's had so many in this generation. It's so nuts. They've had how many units, how many games have sold 20 million copies? They couldn't sell 20 million Wii U's. This is so nuts to think about.
Okay, as we look to wrap up the show, we got a good length today, about 2.5 hours. A little over what we usually do, but I think we had a lot of good content in here. I'll just do quick shouts. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Discord is down in the description. And we're going to start to put chapters on the videos to be more convenient for the listeners if they want to jump around. I know we have some listeners that enjoy the content, but they don't want to sit around for 2 hours. Maybe they want to skip to what they want to listen to. Mainly Curtis
They want to
talking.
hear about Remote Plays Game Pass.
They're not even here at this point anyway. So
Yeah, they're not even going to hear this. So any closing thoughts from you guys?
Man. I can't look. I guess I'm excited to get into Crisis. I'm excited that I might actually only play this for an hour and then uninstall it. So I don't have another game.
Wow.
But I mean, maybe I'll get into it. At worst case, I put like 10 hours into it, right, and play
And beat it.
But,
Oh, it's an 11-hour game.
beat it. Oh, okay. So that's probably 15 hours for me.
That's true. He's gonna be staring at the grass. Wow, look at the grass.
Look at the grass. That blade is going one way. This blade's going the other way. This is incredible.
You guys know what gets me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to check out this Ghostwire game. And tell you about it in a couple weeks.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to do something different today for the outro. We are going to play a theme song. So, yes, we already have a song, title song, and a closing song. But Curtis made an awesome theme song for us.
Did he get his hookup Hideo Kojima, who rudely did not show up today?
Yeah, where was he?
Still waiting for his call. I do genuinely believe that because I think it was Evan was talking so much trash about Jeff Keighley. He put a bug in his ear. He's like, dude, leave those remote play guys alone.
Yeah, he loves his.
They're bad news.
His Kojima.
Can you get somebody to replace him next week?
So I'm gonna send a text here in just a few minutes. Let me go through the contacts here real quick. How about my boy Reg? You guys remember Reg?
Oh, Reggie Fils-Aimé. Now you're talking my boy.
My body is Reggie.
Yeah, I mean,
my man. My that's right.
I'll give Reg a text, see if I can't get him on here. We go way
Did you
back.
steal my phone book
back
or something?
Did I steal your phone book? Child, please.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up. That's episode 12. Thanks for listening. Be sure to, again, like and subscribe, hit the Discord, and we'll join you for the next one. Let's hit that awesome theme song that Curtis made for us.
Ready, set, go. Games on channel. 3 amigos. Talking pixels. Dreams and heroes. Every level. Every quest.